Welcome to Mid Pond Raceway and Events Complex. This is round 4 of Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. Stay tuned. Back to Mike in the booth. Thanks, Mike. Welcome back to round 4 of Klutch Kickers for a $100,000 Drift Series. You guys are about to see our battles go down. We qualified. We have our top 14 drivers. Taylor Hull taking that #1 position, getting chased down by Jake Clark. And then we have Andrew Grindle following up in 3rd. We're about to see some heat out here.
It's about to get spicy. Well, I'm Tara McLamory, and I'm excited to be here with you, Mike. Thanks so much for joining us, man. It's been awesome having you here.
I think we just had you a little muted. We got these super cool buttons over here.
The ejectocito cuz button.
Yeah. So let's hope Taylor.
Try one more time. There we go.
Jake
Run
Clark,
it back.
Andrew Grindle, qualified drivers. We're ready to get our battles out here. We're at the beautiful Mid Pond Raceway and Event Complex. They're doing a fantastic job expanding this beautiful venue. Looking forward to watching our drivers battle it out here today.
Absolutely. Well, stoked to have you here with us, Mike. It's been fantastic having you as a part of the team. Your intro, phenomenal on the pond. If we can get your dream to come true with a podium in the pond, I'm going to be stoked.
I would love to put the podium in the center of the pond. These scoots can drive, but can they swim?
Let's see. I don't know. We want to see y'all in the chat, like really bullying the drivers to do the podium in the pond. Because if we just say it, they're not going to listen to us. But maybe they'll listen to you.
I'll tell you what. There's some big fish in there. Like big. I keep saying this, but there's big fish in there. Massive. Plus, they got the ducks, dude. Look how cuddly the ducks are. Mid Pond's great. I'm having a great time down here. I've been on a boat. I've been off-roading. I've been drifting. I'm having a blast. I'm enjoying myself. I think everybody else, our drivers, are enjoying themselves. We got a couple dudes in the pits, though, having a time.
It's been a struggle bus weekend for sure for several of our drivers. Fortunately, most of our drivers have been able to fix their cars, get back in the action, starting with JP Windham. He was one of the ones we really did not think was going to be able to get his car back in action. He had that stud axle that ended up breaking, and unfortunately took him out for basically most of the day yesterday. He got a couple of runs during practice, and that was basically it. But thanks to RTS, he was able to get parts shipped overnight, got everything put back in place, and really within the last 15 minutes of practice today was able to get a couple runs to shake down. And based on what we saw for our practice runs here earlier, he's looking pretty solid. So our #3 contender for points is looking like he's trying to aim for Taylor Hull, but can't put Cabot Cardoso out either. He's still holding that #2 slot pretty hard. So
yeah, and JP qualifying with 55, he's number 10, and Cardoso #6 with 68 points. Both these guys qualified, got their points on the board. Our Wally system, live telemetry, Race Data Labs. The link is in the chat on the YouTube stream. Make sure you guys check that out. Big shout out to Race Data Labs, streamlining our qualifying, like intense speed. Cool, the cars are going fast, but that was nuts. And there on your screen, you can see our top 10 qualifiers. Taylor Hull taking that #1 spot, Cabot Cardoso #2, JP with #3, Andrew in 4th, and so on and so on. The rest of our drivers are going to fight it out to see who stands on top of the box and taking home the big checks here at round 4 Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. Honestly, I can't wait to get this thing started. Let's get our drivers out onto the grid. Let's get this show on the road. I'm ready to see some action here. This beautiful layout we have for round 4. We have 5 outside zones, a touch and go, and an inside clip before they have to finish it off. And that inside clip and that touch and go is really a fist fight for the finish.
It really is. It's a great way for them to kind of have a nice final true battle towards the end. The outer zones, this is really the most outer zones we've had in our track layout since we've started here at Mid Pond. And the drivers have really enjoyed it. So if you tried the course layout that we had originally, which was introduced on Assetto Corso, we got your feedback. We acknowledged that it was kind of challenging even for our pro drivers. Like we got a lot of feedback from everyone who had tried it. And they're like, oh man, this is just a really weird layout. So we took your advice and we ran a couple different ideas. We practiced some things on Thursday and Friday, and we ultimately ended up with the layout that we have here today, which, as you mentioned, 5 outer zones, 1 final touch and go, and 1 inner clip towards the end of the track.
Now, our drivers have already been battling it out with themselves through qualifying. They've seen some tandem practice, but this is where it really comes down to show. Can they throw down the lead that our judges want to see? And the Wally's going to make sure that they're on point as well. And then they're going to have to mimic exactly what our lead drivers are doing and follow their line. You can see on your screen, this is that Wally telemetry. We have Taylor Hull's that #1 qualifying lap out there. That's not necessarily a Corvette, but it is a Corvette underneath the skin. Hull throwing down out here, getting that #1 spot, but you can see the telemetry telemetry data from Race Data Labs on here, getting the rear axle into the zones. You can see those lines underneath the tires really dictating where the axle land, those bumpers falling into those judge zones exactly where we want to see them, and that final touch and go to that front inside clip right here is definitely going to be a fist fight through the finish. I'm looking forward to watching our drivers battle it out here. Now, we've already been through a bunch of our drivers already had some downfalls. We had a couple drivers, too, stay up all night throwing engines in.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dustin Patton, unfortunately, he ended up with engine troubles right out the gate during practice yesterday, and he spent all night last night. He got a donor engine and was not able to get it sorted. Unfortunately, it was not going to be a good fit for him. So, true to drifting, camaraderie here at Klutch Kickers, here at Mid-Pond, Frank DeLeon, a fellow competitor here today, is actually letting him borrow his S14. So we will have two drivers driving the same car. So if you didn't join us for our qualifying stream earlier today, we're going to have two drivers in the same car. That car is going to be put through its paces today. So Frank DeLeon's orange S14 LS is going to be the car to watch today as both Dustin and Frank run in it.
That thing is going to be running raw all day. Oh, this is a double elimination format, so that means not only is it going to see one loss, it's at maximum seeing 4. Hopefully, none. We'll see them run it all the way to the top, and then they're going to have to wrestle in the pond to see who's going to take the car out for the win of their battle. But we'll get to that hurdle when we get to it.
Maybe if they have an OnlyFans account, we can
a big
promote that for them.
A big shout to Frank for throwing that camaraderie out. I cannot applaud him more for that. Also, a big shout to Dustin going down and throwing down in a chassis that he's never driven before and putting down a decent score. I believe Dustin ended the day number 8 in qualifying with a 62 out of 100. And with that being said, it looks like our drivers are poised back on the backside of our grid. Our number 1 qualifier, Taylor Hull, is actually awarded a bye run into this top 16. He will not be having to run his bye run being awarded. Now, if our drivers later in the competition see a driver bow out for mechanical or whatever other reason, they must leave the line under their own mechanical to prove that their machine is still fit for competition. So this bye run is just awarded to our number 1 qualifier. We have those 15 other drivers who are going to be battling it out to see who gets into the top 8 here today at round 4 Klutch Kickers $100,000 drift series. Our next battle is up on the line right now. We got Drew Smith piloting that Fox body Mustang going up against who else? Dustin in Frank's car. Already off the bat, we're going to see our number 8 qualifier, Dustin, have to battle it out now. If you were watching Klutch Kickers social media, that's the pumpkin guy. He's full of treats. That guy he is.
Mostly tricks. But
yeah,
he's got some treats in there too.
But Drew also, I believe, is a single crew. He's by
No, he does have some crew. Now, he was solo by himself yesterday. His buddy Trey ended up showing up a little bit later yesterday afternoon. But really, he from Tupelo, Mississippi, he's got a couple guys that came over to help him out just to make sure he was not wrenching on his car alone while also driving.
That's a friend.
That's definitely a friend. And, man, what a challenge it is to have to work on your car and drive simultaneously, which I do believe Frank DeLeon is actually his own wrench as well. So having the Whoops Motorsports guys to also help with the maintenance on the car, I'm sure is a nice little handshake moment, if you will.
I love to see the camaraderie here. We're going to see what Dustin's capable of in our first battle out here at round 4 of Klutch Kickers $100,000 drift series. Drew piloting that purple Fox body Mustang going up against Dustin and Frank's orange S14. You guys are getting a view from that backside of the paddock. Our Wally system has activation zones. We're going to have our drivers go through our burnout box. They're going to warm up their tires and get prepped for our first battle here at round 4 in the top 16.
Now, if this is your first time joining us for our live stream, we do encourage you to take a look at the chat. We do have the bracket pinned so that you can check out, follow along with that bracket. Do make sure you refresh it constantly because we do keep it updated, but it does have to be refreshed, unfortunately. But also check out the link for Race Data Labs. You can also follow along almost instantly with the runs from Race Data Labs, so you can see not only the visual representation of the runs, but also the scoring from their runs.
Now, our judges are still playing a vital role into figuring out our verdict of who's going to win going into our next battles here. And it looks like Dustin, our qualifying at number 8, is chosen to take the lead position first here at round 4. That's going to put Drew in chase in his Mustang. Already poised a little bit back off the starting line. A little strategy there, if you will, to chase him down. We got a short run-up. Dustin commenting earlier in his driver interview that the run-up was something he wasn't expecting, but now in a completely different car. Let's see what happens. All right, here we go. The lights are illuminated. Our judges are ready. Let's get it down. First battle here, round 4, $100,000 drift series. Dustin flicks in Frank's car. Drew follows him down into outside zone number 2. Both drivers survive the first outside zones. Dustin doing a good job as both drivers transition to outside 3. Drew starts to put the pressure on now, start barking at the side of Dustin's car. Both drivers get through outside 3. Drew has to back off just a little bit to let Dustin fall into outside 4. Both drivers really pushing themselves as Drew getting right to the door handles. A little waiver out to outside 5 gives him a little room to switch back into that touch and go. Drew getting stabby as Dustin trying to take that real estate away. Drew almost got in there a little early. We're going to have to rely on our telemetry and our judges to see if Dustin's at fault, taking away an unchaseable lead lap there. Definitely not what Dustin wanted to see in the lead, but nonetheless, Drew out there doing the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a reminder to our audience here, we do have a panel of 3 judges here with us as well. So the Wally Race Data Lab system is not meant to replace judging. It is just meant to be a judging aid. It's also meant as a driver's aid and for their crew. So you can also follow along, but we like to use it as a way to kind of let the judges rewatch the runs. Obviously, we have the replays, which we're showing you here on the screen, but this is just an additional way for us to help them not only look at the line, the angle, but the speed, which is something that we do also look for in judging here at Klutch Kickers.
Now, looking back at that replay, it looks like Drew may have been more at fault there, but once we said before, we're just talking into the sticks here. It's going to rely on the judges and the telemetry to really tell us the true tale of what's happened here. Dustin now in that chase position. Drew now has to put on the lead the judges want to see. Dustin mimicking everything that Drew does. Dustin doing a fantastic job through his lead. Looking back at that replay, he really did curl it in back into that front inside clip. We're going to see if Drew cannot make or force a similar mistake out of Dustin piloting Frank's car. Here we go, the second half of the battle here. First one of the top 16, round 4, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. Drew blazes off of the start line, getting that Mustang a gap out of Dustin, piloting in Frank's car, dumping out of outside 1 into outside 2. Drew navigating through outside 2, now has to transition to outside 3. Dustin's right on the backside of that Mustang as both drivers working their way, getting it all the way through 3. Drew rotates back into 4. Dustin now putting the pressure back on. The S14 really starting to eat its own arrow. Poor Frank as Drew dives into outside 5, getting into that touch and go, just slightly off that touch and go to that front corner. Dustin giving him a little bit of space to work there, maybe a little strategy. We're going to see how that weighs out as we're going to have to wait for our judges' final decision between Drew and Dustin.
Yeah, that inner clip is a little bit challenging here, but so far that lead run from Drew did look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with what I just saw there.
Yeah, big shout to both of these drivers. You can see on the replay at home, Drew in that Mustang wavering in and out of outside 2. Dustin giving him a little space there right on the back bumper as both drivers transition to outside 3. Drew getting into outside 3 a little late. Might be the fault of Dustin. We have no idea. But how we go down into outside 4, Drew was doing a fantastic job getting the Mustang where it needs to be. Dustin putting the pressure back on as both drivers are working their way through that touch and go. You can see Drew just missing the box there. The very artistry of the zones painted out on the course here today. But Dustin doing what he can. Drew's doing a phenomenal job. We're waiting for our final verdict. These guys are locked in underneath the tent, waiting for our judges to say who got our win. And we got our graphic up on the screen. Let's see who's going to take home the win here. Is it going to be Drew Smith in his Fox Body Mustang or Dustin Patton? And it looks like Drew Smith in his Mustang gets the win, taking the win into the top 16. Make some noise for him.
Congratulations to Fox Body Poppy. Hey. Drew Smith. I unfortunately dubbed him with that name jokingly during round 3, and unfortunately for him, he says he enjoys it, but it did stick, and he says he's rolling with it. So
well, he's going to roll right into the top 8 with it. Unfortunately, Dustin with the borrowed car, a heck of a fight out of him all weekend. We love to see him out here. Big shout to Dustin, doing a great job. But good thing for Frank. I guess Frank gets a full roam back to his car. We'll see what Frank could do with his same car back later in the battles. But our next battle on the line, we got Brandon Bass up against Hannah Amerson. Hannah skipping her homecoming to come out here to battle it out in round 4. Big shout to that. I love that energy. And Brandon piloting that Mark III Supra, streak driving it into the gate out here, battling out. Let's see what these two got going on.
Yeah, definitely. Hannah's senior year, you would not know it. She has been driving since she was 13. She's definitely hungry to be here, so kudos to her and to Brandon for the energy that they bring to this comp.
All right, Brandon taking that lead position, getting chased down by Hannah. Hannah, a big gap over there as Brandon's starting to dump himself into outside 2. Hannah trying to close that up, really taking that inertia out, really staying in the throttle all the way through the dirt. But Brandon in his Mark III Supra is just creating a dominant gap as they dive themselves into outside 4. As I say that, Hannah's trying to close that gap up, sacrificing a little bit of angle and proximity, trying to close it up. as Brandon is just navigating through the rest. Hannah just putting a little too much sauce, trying to close up that. She survives the lap. It looks like she's going to get back on the asphalt, but Brandon in his Mark III Super survives the lap, gets his lead out of the way, is now going to flip rotation around. Hannah's now going to have the responsibility of the lead. Brandon's out to chase.
Now, if this is, again, your first time joining us, I do want to make sure we remind you that Dustin Patton is not out yet. He still has an opportunity since we do double elimination, which means essentially we have a loser's bracket. So Dustin has another chance to make it towards the final 4, final 8, however he ends up shaking down. So just keep in mind, he does have an opportunity to still be in the run.
That is definitely a good play out for our drivers. They're going to have to lose twice today to fall out of the competition here this weekend. So that means Dustin just has a little tweaks to make in that new chassis. Hopefully we see him later fighting his way through the loser bracket, getting himself back in. But here we go. We got Hannah locked back into that lead position. Brandon Bass in the chase with that Mark III Supra. Waiting for our judges to give that illumination. All right, here we go. Our start. I can hear him all the way over here. What a throat on that guy. All right, here we go. Hannah now taking that lead. Round 4, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. Brandon the chaser down. Hannah initiates going through outside zone 1. A little bit of a bobble. She exits stage left as Brandon's going to finish off his lap here. Unfortunately, that's going to be all she wrote for Hannah in this battle. But like you just said, she's not done for the weekend. We're going to shake that out, and we'll get her back out on track later today. But this is going to be the Brandon Bass show as he finishes off his lap. And he's going to work his way into the top 8. Street driven. I watched it come through the gate, you know. It was a nice little moment. I was like, that looks like he's here for a purpose. And here he is.
Anna said she's going to finish her run. I love it.
Yeah, an unfortunate turn event. I saw Hannah have a little bit of constantly fighting a little bit of understeer, especially through outside 1 and 2, almost all through practice. Unfortunately, not being able to dial it off or figure it out before getting into a battle. But there's a lot of pressure on people, especially with outside 1 to 2. It's quite the stretch of outside zone.
For sure. So I'm wondering if it's, as you said, a lot of pressure and possibly a lot of grip. I'm wondering if that may be what's throwing her off a little bit, especially as she goes into that first hairpin.
Well, unfortunately, Brandon is going to take that win. We're going to get our drivers flipped back around. You can see Hannah right behind Brandon, scooting all backward. She got a lap in, At least she's out here. She's burning tires. She's having fun. And that's ultimately what we're out here to do. Thank you for Mid-Pond Raceway and Event Complex for throwing down this event for Klutch Kickers. And let's make it official here. We're going to get a win.
Brandon Bass gets the win.
And Brandon's going to take the win. He advances into the top 8. Like you said already, double elimination.
Hannah still has an opportunity.
And this is drifting. I've seen weirder things happen. Hannah can come back fist fighting. So big shout to her and her team. Hopefully you get everything dialed back into exactly where she needs to be. But a big shout to Brandon Bass for taking the win, getting himself into the top 8. We're going to get right back into it. And now Frank's out there immediately. Frank's out in his S14, poised and ready. He's got to take out Parson. Parson was dialed off in practice as well. Like, all these drivers are doing a fantastic job. Even through qualifying, I saw massive improvements. They were making improvements in points. They were making improvements in driver input. It's awesome to see a driver come out and make the progression live and in person.
Right.
And you guys are getting a special treat here on the internet. You get to sit at home, snacks, everything readily available to you. And honestly, you guys are missing out not coming to Mid-Pond.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
You could bring us snacks. What?
Yeah, gushers, please. All right, Frank's working his car back around. He's getting himself locked in. Oh no.
That's not a good sign.
He's making quite the trip around. It's just a parade. Hopefully
maybe it's a cool down lap. Who knows? But I don't know if that's going to be. That would have to count against him, unfortunately. So I believe this is going to have to be a 5-minute timeout. But Frank is definitely, unfortunately, it's the cameras are on us right now. But we are seeing Frank DeLeon exiting the track right now.
Still
so that will be
a great energy.
Still in good spirits, but that will
energy.
be his 5-minute timeout, I'm afraid.
That's unfortunate to see. If you guys are just joining us, we are already in our top 16 at round 4 Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. We've already went through our qualifying. Our number 1 qualifier, Taylor Hull, coming in with 76. Our number 2 qualifier, Jake Clark, coming in at 75, the tiebreaker. Then the number 3, who's warming up his tires right now on track, Grindle, with a 74. These guys are battling out to see who's going to get the top spot in the battle, but Grindle has to fight his way into the top 8 here to get things started here at round 4.
Grindle is one heck of a contender here. He and JP fighting for that third place spot. I know Kashad's right behind him. He and Kashad kind of third and fourth place, right there tied for points right now. We'll see how that shakes out towards the end of this round, but I don't know. Grindle's been hot for that third spot in points, and he is definitely hot to dethrone Taylor Hull. And I know Alli had a lot of anxiety going up against Grindle, but she was excited that she did get to go up against him, one, because he's a challenging driver, and two, because he's a friend. So that's always a good thing when you can get to go against your homies.
Grindle taking that lead position with a higher qualifying score, Alli to chase. Alli's got quite the real estate to fill up here, as Grindle has been a rocket ship throughout practice here today. The lights are illuminated. Let's get into it. Our top 16 battle, Grindle versus Windham. Grindle blazes into outside zone number 1. Starting the checklist off early as Alli's trying to close that gap up, going into outside zone number 2. Grindle rotates back around. He's going to go through that long outside 3. Alli just doing everything she can to get that S13 back into the pocket here as Grindle gives her a little opportunity. Alli bites hard going into outside 4. Alli survives. Grindle's going to finish off his lap. No contact that I saw at least, but at least nothing detrimental. Both cars are going to finish off their lap. Unfortunately, Alli shortly behind Grindle as Grindle's lead lap finishes off strong. Let's go. We'll have to go back to the replay to see what happened there, but Alli definitely taking the energy, trying to close that gap up, going out of outside 3 into outside 4. You can see on the replay at home, Grindle really going through the checklist as fast as possible through outside 1 and 2. Alli doing everything she can to close that gap up. Grindle's car is a literal rocket ship. Alli doing a great job here, trying to close it up, sacrificing a little line, trying to close that gap back in. Unfortunately, taking a large bite there, hard to swallow going into outside 4 as Grindle works his way through outside 5. Shoves back up to that touch and go into that front inside clip, finishes off at the finish line nice and strong. Alli, unfortunately, with a slight deficit here, but now her responsibility in the lead, and Grindle has to chase.
Yeah, she definitely had a little bit of a disadvantage in terms of horsepower here. I believe Grindle's making about 700, almost 800 horsepower. Well, Alli's about 450 with her LS, but let's see how she does in the lead.
That's pretty saucy, but here we go. Alli taking that lead position now. Grindle now has the responsibility to mimic her line going in through outside 1. Both drivers dump through outside 2. Alli trying to run away from Grindle's monster as she go into outside 3. Alli a little shy to get that rear axle into the zone. Grindle shortly behind her. Both drivers shove past outside 4. Alli a bit shy off the boxes, but she's throwing it down here around 4. Alli doing a good job getting to 5. Grindle having to give her a little bit of space here, making some sacrifices, trying to make sure that he doesn't make any contact. No mistakes out of both drivers. It looks like Alli's going to survive the lap. Grindle really putting the pressure on there. We're going to have to lean on our judges for that final verdict of the winner. You guys at home on the replay are seeing Alli take that first outside zone. She does a great job through outside 1, curls in a little too tight for outside 2. A real tight to the inside apex, if you will, almost all through practice. She's really dialed in on that line. Unfortunately, our judges want to see our drivers on that wide line on our outside zones. Grindle doing a great job showing some patience here, trying to hold that machine back, letting Alli do her thing up in front, and Grindle maybe enough to send the win home.
For sure.
And it looks like he's going to make it official. Andrew Grindle takes the win going into the top 8, but Alli's weekend is not done. This is a double elimination format.
Well, for those of you who were following along with what was happening with Frank DeLeon, did want to confirm he took his 5-minute timeout. He is coming back out on the track now, but his car was overheating, so cooled it down a little bit. Seems to be okay. Back out on the track now.
All right, love to see it. Love to see our drivers survive the weekend, especially a machine playing double duty. That poor thing, man. That poor thing. It looks like we're going to drag them back up now. It looks like Frank's going to get his time to shine. Parson going to have to take him out, see who's going to drive themselves into the top 8.
Well, before we get to that battle, we do have Cardoso getting ready to go up to grid. Now, unfortunately, Danny Morse, who was supposed to go up against Cabot, did have to bow out. He was having some pretty serious fuel issues as he was coming out of practice here today. I may have jinxed him. We'll talk about that here in a minute.
No.
Let's see Cabot's run here.
All right, Cabot taking his bye run. He has to make sure and showcase that his machine is still capable of battle, which it looks like it is as he works through his way through outside zone number 2. He's going to rotate that 350Z up into outside zone number 3, get in the rear axis where the judges want to see it. A big shove, an angle to slow down to outside 4. Cabot a little late getting into the box there, but nonetheless, he's going to get the win here with his bye run. An unfortunate turn of events for Danny. That 1UZ S13 just not making it out to battles, but his first elimination for the weekend as Cabot is going to lock himself into that top 8, finishing over the finish line.
Absolutely, yeah. So I did want to just give a quick more shout out to Danny because This man has struggled so much throughout this season, and he has shown up time and time again, constantly working on his car, constantly trying to perfect things. He looked really great throughout practice today and yesterday, and then unfortunately just was having some fuel issues. It was breaking up quite a bit, and just had to call it out. So kudos to you, Danny. We hate you couldn't make it here today, but Cabot Cardoso, what a fantastic run. Beautiful by run.
All right, so that's going to make it official. Cardoso is going to get that top 8 position, working his way through his next battles. But I think now is it time for Frank? Is it Frankie time? I think it's time for Frank at this point.
Frankie Camel style. Let's do it.
Parson is going to have to try to take him out. Both these drivers pretty much locked in. Frank, a little bit of a bobbles going into outside 1 and 2 early in practice. I think he really dialed himself in later on. I think even having Dustin kind of showcasing him that the car is capable of doing it, Frank really dialed himself in. And sharing that vehicle, the camaraderie, is super nice. But I think he learned a little bit out of Dustin. Maybe a little ego boost, if you will.
Okay.
Like, the machine's capable. I need to step up. And I think Frank's capable of taking a win here.
Oh,
but
for sure.
Parson is no easy ticket. Parson's been throwing down throughout practice and not scared to put the rear axle where it shouldn't be.
Absolutely not. And Camel, of course, you haven't really had a chance to get to see the fan favorite here. Camel, all the way from Florida, has been sort of the golden child, if you will, of the group chat here, or of the live chat, I should say. And so we do hope that we can see some good runs from both of these drivers. But it is interesting that it ended up being a battle between 2 partnering teams. We'll call them partnering teams at this point.
All right, well, we got them locked into the grid. Let's get this battle started. We got Frank piloting his own car. Our judges are ready. The lights are being illuminated. Parson to chase him down. And here we go, round 4. Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. This is the battle to get themselves into the top 8. Frank already feeling the pressure. Parson making a dive way early, getting spicy right off the bat as Frank is going to walk his way through outside zone number 2, rotate himself back up to outside 3. Parson with a major deficit trying to close that gap back up as both drivers rotate themselves into outside 4. Frank doing a good job, really cranking the angle and the throttle, and love to see it out of outside 4, taking that energy into outside 5, getting the rear bumper into the box, over to that touch and go. Don't overcook it now, across the finish line. Frank survives the lap. Parson just taking a big bite right off the bat.
Yeah, he board slid right there in that last little outer zone 4, outer zone 4 before he got into outer zone 5. I'm not sure what was going on there.
Oh, really cranked her hard there, buddy. All right, well, it looks like Frank, you're seeing it at home, that replay. Frank's doing a good job going through outside zone 1 and 2. Unfortunately, Parson falls out of frame, making that major mistake on the entry. I don't know if he got bit up by Frank going down, but either way, that aggression not being rewarded here as Frank's going to finish off his lap with that S14. You can see a little waiver coming out of outside 4 a little early, but right into outside 5, getting out to that touch and go and curls back into that front inside clip beautifully. That's a good lap from Frank, but now his responsibility to chase is going to be up to par as he has Parson to lead. Parson trying to clean up that lap right now. Let's see, we got to wait for our judges' lights to illuminate, and our guys will be rocking and rolling this top 16 battle here at round 4, Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. Oh, look at the ducks. All right, here we go, top 16 battle. Parson, DeLeon. Both drivers dump themselves into outside zone number 1. Frank putting the pressure on now. Parson doing a good job navigating through our judges' checklist. A little shy off the box, gets in a little late. Cars curling back in as Frank's getting stabby going in and out of outside 2, going into outside 3. Parson doing a good job getting that rear axle of that S13 back out for outside 3, jumps back into outside 4. Frank taking a much tighter line, trying to close that proximity. We're going to see how our judges like to see that. Our judges did make a note. Oh, and Frank exits stage right.
Oh, no.
Stage right exit for Frank as Parson finished off his lap here. He had the advantage. We definitely don't want to see it. We're going to have to weigh into the judges to see where they want to throw this, but both drivers making major mistakes in the chase position.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one that the judges are going to spend a little bit more time deliberating, which, again, this is a fantastic reason why we do have the Wally Race Day Lab system, because it does give them an opportunity not only to visualize, we've got the drone footage here that they can use for recap, but for things that they cannot use quantitative, I should say, like speed. that's where the Race Data Lab system comes into play.
The Race Data Labs has a ton of telemetry. If you guys would like to check it out yourself, that live data is available. We'll throw a new link. It's already been in the chat, but I see you guys in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us on the live stream. We'll send that telemetry link back through the chat for you guys to check out that live. Just hit the refresh page. We'll keep going on. That bracket, that live bracket is available pinned to the top of your chat. You can click on that, hit that refresh every once in a while, and we'll keep that bracket up to date so you know what's going on. Probably better than I know what's going on. But as we sit here and wait patiently for our verdict here between Parson and DeLeon of who's going to get the win, or if, unfortunately, both drivers are going to have to swing it back around for it one more time. And it looks like we have a winner, Parson getting the win, working himself into the top 8, but Frank's weekend is not done. Now taking that chassis, both him and Dustin, into our losers bracket here. This is a double elimination format. So our driver's weekend is not done, but, you know, a little hit to the ego.
All right, looks like we got up next in our staging is going to be Hayden Catrell, who is no stranger to Klutch Kickers. Definitely is known for participating in Klutch Kickers when we were back at Holt. Of course, going up against JP Windham out of Mobile, Alabama. Again, JP was the one who I was mentioning earlier who was having issues with his axle, was able to get parts in overnight thanks to RTS, and looks like he's ready to boogie.
All right, it looks like both our drivers are locked into where they need to be for our Race Data Labs telemetry. Call that the activation box. It looks like Catrell is going to take that lead position with a higher qualifying. Our higher qualifying driver gets the choice between lead or chase, which is, I think, a cool addition to the competition layout here. And here we go, we're going to jump right into it. Hayden taking that lead in that 350Z. JP to chase him down with that E46 BMW. Both drivers blaze out. 350Z actually taking a gap away from the E46 as both drivers dump into outside zone number 1. Hayden trying to stretch himself out to outside 2. JP trying to put the pressure on now as he curls in on a much tighter line going through outside 2 as Hayden dumps into outside 3, and JP makes a major straighten correction through outside 3 as Hayden completes outside 3 and dumps himself into outside 4. Hayden's 350Z locking himself in that rear axle into that outside zone, exactly like our judges wanted to see, dumping himself into outside 5, flicks back up into that touch and go. JP trying to close that gap up as they go across that front inside clip and across the finish line. Hayden putting on a lead lap for our judges, exactly what they want to see through our checklist, and JP, unfortunately, a small bobble to outside 3, and you can see him trying to be tight here, and it looks like Hayden's little 350Z running away from him. That HRVQ, that rev up under there,
yeah,
really running away here.
Well, we used to say it was Dustin Patton's little VQ that could, but now it looks like it's Hayden since, unfortunately, Dustin's VQ left the chat, so.
Well, you know, put the funny gas in it and start doing funny things. All right, Hayden's doing a fantastic job on the replay at home. You can see him shove all the way out to that touch and go through that front inside clip. You can see JP start getting a little aggressive. Now, the dynamic can completely change here as JP now has the lead position and Hayden to chase.
One thing we know Hayden is going to do is absolutely give it the beans. He is going to go full throttle. That is something we know Hayden for.
I got one lap with Hayden. Hayden gave me a lead. I got some fun laps out here with my Supra, so honestly, I would be stoked to see Hayden go, but we know JP is no slouch here, and now JP is going to showcase to our judges what he's capable of. Hayden's got to put the pressure on.
Oh. JP's going to give that smoke show with those Zek Novas, that is for sure.
All right, so JP blazes off of that start line, really setting the precedence early as Hayden's trying to close that gap up, taking some line sacrifices through outside 1 and 2, closes that gap back up and going to outside 3 as Hayden's starting to put the pressure back on, but JP's E46 really smoking through, locking that front brake and everything, dives back in. Hayden putting the pressure into outside 4 as he starts to bark at the door handle, but JP's starting to run away going into outside 5, avoids outside 5 to appear from my drone perspective, and it looks like Hayden really taking some sacrifices here as JP is blazing across the finish line. For you guys joining us on the live stream at home, you guys can see that replay as JP dumps himself into outside zone number 1, holding that trajectory all the way through outside zone number 2 as Hayden making a few sacrifices. You can see JP makes a small error going through the exit of outside 2, cleans it back up for outside 3. Hayden really just trying to keep his proximity closed down. Our judges have asked our drivers if they have to make a change to get back into the ideal pocket to make it as short as possible, use as least amount of track real estate as possible to clean it up. And you can see Hayden trying to make some sacrifices here, but it could be a lingering.
Well, while we're waiting for the judges to deliberate on the winner of this battle, I did want to give a little bit of clarification to the battle against Frank and Kashad. So judges did say that they were, looking at this lead to lead, chase to chase, and both guys zeroed their chases. So the Wally data ended up confirming that Kashad's lead run was better overall than Frank's. So Frank was the one who Kashad was the one who ended up moving on.
And it looks like it's official by the judges. Hayden gets the win. Hayden gets the win, working himself into the top 8. Now JP's weekend is not done. Thank goodness. Worked really hard to get that car back out on track. He's going to get one more chance here. If you guys are new to this, this is a double elimination round. This is round 4 of Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. Ken's feeding the ducks and the fishes. If you guys, I've already said it before, but if you're just joining us, there's fish in there. I'm telling you, dude, they're monsters. I don't know how the ducks survive. They got to be out there fight. That's a big fish.
This is the most Alabama thing probably I've ever asked. Have you ever been noodling?
No.
Okay, so stick your arm.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to go do. You got to go noodling before you leave.
All right, Podium.
All right, there we go.
Podium to start noodling in the pond. Biggest fish wins. That's how it works, right? Beautiful facility here in Mid-Pond. They have ducks. I've been off-roading. I've been in boats. I've got to drift laps. I'm having a fantastic time, and I get to hang out with y'all on the live stream. Thank you guys for joining us, both in person. Thank you to our teams and crew for hanging out all day here in Mid-Pond. If you guys haven't been here yet, you're missing out. There is a massive expansion going on. I'm talking, they're moving the earth, literally taking a mountain. A whole mountain. And it is a massive project, a massive undertaking, and I'm telling you, the track when it's done is going to be intense. New asphalt, new layouts, a new overall feel for this entire complex. I'm looking forward to it. Big shout out to Mid-Pond and their staff for upkeeping all of this. But we're going to jump right back into our next battle here at round 4, Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series.
Yeah, we got Jake Clark, our youngest contender here for this season. Well, really for this round. I won't say for this season because, stranger things could happen. We still have one more round, round 5, coming up here in November.
Yeah, get signed up. The link is in the bio for driver registration. What are you waiting for? You're missing out. This is a good time.
You too. Oh, go ahead.
No, there's a pond here, dude. There's water features. That's high quality stuff. All right, it looks like Jake's going to take that lead with a higher qualifier and getting chased down by Trevor. Trevor Johnstone, he had a little bit of an issue coming out in qualifying. I'm glad he got it fixed. I believe Hull helped him out, so a big shout to Hull for helping out another fellow competitor, Johnstone, with that S550 Mustang. Beautiful car. Little boop on the back end, but you get that on those big jobs. Yeah. But here we go. Judges are eliminated, waiting for our start lights to go out as Jake Clark in his yellow S13 is going to take the lead, getting chased down by Johnstone in his S550 Mustang. Jake doing a good job. A young buck driving through outside 1 and 2, rotating that car all the way through the completion of outside 2 as he rotates back into outside 3. Johnstone trying to get that Mustang back up the stuff into the pocket, but Jake is just running away with that S13 going into outside 4. Jake getting that rear axle nice and deep all the way in the back. A little dust, a cloud. Not definitely a deduction, but not, as I say that, shuts are down. Jake's S13 shuts down, no contact made. A good drive out of Trevor, avoiding contact, but unfortunately for Jake, that's not what we want to see.
No, and that's a little unusual for Jake. Last round, he was so consistent, was really putting an edge on every single run. I think we'll see something different from him, but I don't know. That's not like him for sure.
Yeah, you guys can see on the replay at home, Jake doing a great job through outside zone 1 and 2. Really great job landing himself into outside 3 with a ton of inertia as Trevor's just trying to close that gap up if they dump into outside 4. It looks like Jake got a little deep going through outside 4. It looks like he completes, and it just shuts down on the exit. And it looks like, unfortunately, Trevor's going to have another boop on the left side of his car.
Oopsies.
All right, well, both drivers are back up in the line. Unfortunate for Jake. It looks like it was an anomaly, unaware, just shutting her down. We hate to see it. He was on a tear, but now his responsibilities in chase. Johnstone taking the lead. We'll see what that S550 Mustang is capable of. Let's go through our judges' checklist here. Round 4, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. Let's see what Trevor's got as our lights illuminate and extinguish. Trevor leaves the line with some authority. Shoves that big old Mustang into outside zone number 1, keeps that trajectory going to outside 2, and Jake just shuts it back down. An unfortunate turn of events, no more contact, and it looks like Johnstone, that fight to get back out on track is going to be rewarded. All he has to do is finish his lap here nice and strong. He's got to get through outside zone number 4, keep his composure, keep the Mustang on track, no crowds, as he works his way through outside 5, getting out to that touch and go. A bit shy on that touch and go. Calms her down, keeps his composure over the finish line. I gotta breathe a little. I'm so excited. Unfortunately for Jake, having the bow out, hopefully he can get it fixed. He has another elimination under his belt that he can utilize. We'll see him in the losers bracket, but he was on a rip.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see he hasn't had any major car issues here for practice thus far, so not sure what's going on right now. But like you said, he does have some time to get some things fixed, get back out there before his next battle.
All right, so I believe that is going to conclude our 16.
Yeah, so now we get down into our, what we affectionately call our losers bracket. Just going to wait for the final verdict here. The official verdict, I should say.
Graphic up on the screen. And it looks like Trevor Johnstone's going to lock himself in with that S550 Mustang, advancing himself into the top 8. But like we said before, Jake's weekend is not done here. Hopefully he can get it repaired. It looks like the car is still running. It's driving itself off of the track. That's always a good day. Unfortunately, just not doing what he needed it to do during the battle.
All right, well, looks like first up on our losers bracket, we've got Hannah Amerson against Frank DeLeon. So just a reminder, this is actually Frank in his own car right now. So we will see the battle of the LSs here. LS2 and actually what does Frank have in his? I don't know if he's LS1, LS2. Honestly, I don't know. I don't remember. V8.
Big old V8. Big old V8. I will say, everybody down here, y'all don't like mufflers. Y'all like loud cars around here.
Well, yeah.
You guys are screaming. Every V8's chooching around here.
Hey, the VQ sounds good, all right? So we will give Hayden that. His VQ did sound pretty good. I'll
Honestly,
give him credit where credit is due.
It is a good sounding trumpet.
Wow.
Could
be worse. It
is
could
a
be worse.
well-tuned instrument, if you will. All right, the first battle of our losers bracket. Hannah back on, going up against Frank. That double-duty S14, that thing is putting in work. Hannah, our homecoming queen of Mid-Pond, round 4. Let's see if she can throw down. She's going to be taking that lead position, Frank to chase. I don't know if on the live stream you can hear our grid worker. He has quite the throat on him, but here we go. Hannah taking that lead. Works her way, avoiding outside 1, but gets herself into outside 2. Maybe a wide decision
Hannah.
and a little too much sauce and some contact out of Frank. Unfortunately, not matching the spin. A little boop there.
A little debris on the track there.
Easy, Frank. She's a child. All right, it looks like both drivers survived the carnage. Hopefully Hannah not taking too much damage there. Maybe not knocked out of alignment. Let's see if she can make it back to the grid, but unfortunately for her, that is a 0 in the lead position, an unchaseable lead, if you will. It looks like she is navigating back home. Frank's S14 working his way back to the grid. Hannah taking quite the cruise past the pond. Honestly, I think Hannah skipping outside 1 like that was a good strategy. That car did not like the energy through outside 1. I think a single zone sacrifice for Hannah was a wise choice. Maybe a little just extra inertia she wasn't ready for with that driver or that input change. An unfortunate turn of event, but I love to see the driver progression here from everybody throughout the weekend here, utilizing that extra practice day. Even guys and girls breaking cars all left and right, staying up all night, fixing them and getting back out on comp. Everybody's making progressive steps forward. I love to see it here. That's the energy I like to see as we are going to cruise back around. It looks like Frank sitting on the side of the track, Hannah right beside him, double checking the damages, make sure so everything's safe and kosher.
So just a reminder, Frank has already called a 5-minute timeout. So if there is any damage to the car, he unfortunately cannot take that timeout. So we'll see what he ends up doing. Got our grid worker here looking at the car, talking to him briefly. We'll see if there is any significant damage to the car or if there is concern.
As we've said before, Frank's S14 playing double duty, also being piloted by Dustin. Dustin also down in our losers bracket. He got a bye run going into, so he's going to be into our next bracket of our loser bracket. So this S14 needs to survive, not only for Frank, but for Dustin.
Yeah.
Poor thing, dude. You know?
That poor car.
You hate to see it.
We see you, Timmy. How dare he crash Dustin's car?
All right, there's Hannah's 350Z. Looks like it survived the hit pretty well. It's got plenty of bash bar. Should be able to take down a cow. All right. Looks like our driver's going to start navigating back through. Give you guys an update as soon as we know. But if you guys are just joining us, this is round 4 of Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. If you guys haven't checked it out already, make sure you check out that Race Data Labs telemetry. The live link is in the chat, as well as our live bracket pinned to the top of our live stream chat. If you guys are just joining, Taylor Hall, our #1 qualifier, with a 76, getting chased down by Jake Clark with a 75, and Andrew Grindle with a 74. We have our top 16 drivers already knocked out going into our top 8. We have our losers bracket. This is a double elimination format, so our drivers weekend is not done. It looks like Frank's going to work his way back into the grid here.
Yeah, so just a reminder, and this is something I actually wasn't even thinking about. Since Hannah was at fault for the contact, Frank does technically get another competition timeout. So he is going to take that, double check the car, make sure everything's fine before he gets back out on the track. We don't know for sure. We haven't gotten confirmation if there's anything wrong with the car, but we got Alli Windham out getting ready to make her run.
Yeah, awarded a bye run, unfortunately, because Danny's 1UZ S13 unable to make it out for battle. So Alli just has to put down a lap, showcase that her machine is capable, survive here. She's avoiding of those zones. She's a little allergic to our outside zones here at Mid-Pond. But nonetheless, she's going to take a win. She's going to work her way into the next bracket here of the loser bracket, already suffering 1 loss, but not now. She's going to take a win and survive into the next bracket. Definitely keeping a car alive down here is half of the battle. We want to see our drivers survive, but everybody out here, guys and girls, have been throwing down all the way since Friday, and the edge of this track is gnarly. It's unforgiving.
It is very unforgiving. It's a very sharp drop-off, and those rumples do not play around. But you know what? We've been very fortunate with this round that we have not been past rounds is that the weather is actually perfect. The temperature is great. We're getting close to boo season, boys and girls. It's fantastic, but we're still seeing a lot of broken car issues, which, you know, we're 4 rounds into the season. Obviously, we're going to see broken cars. These drivers aren't just competing in our series. There's other comps and other events that they're competing in, so it's to be expected. It's part of drifting. You're going to break your car.
Now, all our drivers and their teams working extremely hard to keep these machines out on track, so a big kudos to all of y'all for keeping it together as long as you have. Unfortunately, some bowing out, not making it through. We'll still see them to fight another day. A couple drivers already taking their second losses. We'll have to see how it chimes out. We already have our top 8 winners bracket locked in. We have our top 8 with Taylor Hall going up against Drew Smith, Brandon Bass going up against Parson, Grindle up against Cardoso, Catrell against Johnstone.
So speaking of bowing out, Frank DeLeon was given a 10-minute timeout because of the contact with Hannah. For whatever reason, we don't have any clarity on why, but he has opted to bow out. We don't know if that's because of the car or because of just Frank. We don't know for sure. We're waiting on confirmation. But this is going to be Hannah's bye run for the battle against Frank DeLeon.
A crazy turn of events. Hannah, the Mid-Pond homecoming queen, is going to take her bye run, shoving herself through outside zone number 1, going into outside zone number 2. Got to keep it on the asphalt, navigating that 350Z down and out of outside 2 into outside 3. Hannah doing a good job keeping it in that outside zone. Pulls out of just a tight early, setting herself up for outside 4. Got to make sure the machine lasts now. She's already taken the win with the bye run. Unfortunately, Frank bowing out of competition, not able to fix the vehicle. We'll definitely have to get an update for you guys later on for Frank. A great competitor, showcase. I wonder what that spells out for Dustin.
I don't know. Dustin's going to have to start hitching a ride for a new car here in a bit if it isn't a true issue with that S14. All
right, well, thank you guys for joining us here on the live stream. Klutch Kickers round 4. This is a $100,000 drift series. Thank you guys for joining us in the chat. I see y'all. I'm there. I'm watching. See? Right
Somebody
here.
said to do a kickflip. I'm going to do a kickflip. Oh, my God. Safety third.
See that? I landed it. What else you got? All right, that's an S for you. You didn't kickflip. I didn't see it. All right. Man, you made me stretch. I get to do so much cool stuff down here. I mean, if you guys are just joining, I'm going to say it again. Got to drive a boat. Paddle boat, but you know, that's enough.
Yeah, a boat is a boat, man.
Went off-roading, went drifting, watching drifting, hanging out. Great party atmosphere here at the Mid-Pond.
Yeah. Went off-roading in your Supra.
Yeah. I checked out the massive expansion, the mountain being carved away for the new track, and Super took it just fine. So, like, I think the track layout's great. I mean, it's a little dirty right now. You know, it's dusty, but, like, that's nothing to car wash. There's a hose out here for us. Like,
well, I mean, if
the hospitality here is
depending
unmatched.
on when you go home, you may get a free car wash.
That's true. Unfortunate for me.
Yeah. No
But
Targas for you. You're going to get a nice shower on the way, too.
Hey, you know, I'll take them when I can get them. That's for sure.
All right, so getting a couple more updates from the judges here. So looks like Jake versus JP. Jake is now taking a 5-minute comp timeout. So we got a few minutes here. We're going to let the drones change out batteries. We're going to take this moment to just kind of reset here. But, yeah.
So we can jump back over to that Race Data Labs. That link is in the live stream. You can check out that same telemetry that the Wally system is picking up. We have a max speed on track here from JP with 50.3 miles an hour. The average speed with a 36.2 out of Cardoso. So that is all the telemetry data that is getting picked up from the Wally system throughout the entirety. And we also have Taylor Hull holding the top spot at 98.9% of those zones filled. You can see why he was our #1 qualifier here at round 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely a cool tidbit of extra telemetry. If you guys aren't, check out the link. Jump in there. A big shout out to Race Data Labs for hosting that server, for all you guys, the drivers, and our judges to use as another tool to find our winners here at round 4.
And that data is going to be available for several days post this event. So if you would like to check that out in the future, you can do so. The drivers are encouraged to download their own data or to screen capture their own data so that they can use that for future purposes. In terms of what's incoming for the Race Data Labs team, they've been telling us a couple of things. They've got some things in the works, not just future travel, but also some things that they're going to be working on to kind of expand the amount of time that drivers can have access to their data. Did you make a friend?
I did. Look at that guy. I wish I could make friends with the ducks. They won't let me pet them. I just want to hold a duck, you know? Like if I had a duck right now.
There's a strategy to it.
Yeah, but I'm not chasing the guy, all right? I want consent.
That's a very good thing.
Yeah, I want a duck, you know? If someone can deliver me a duck, I don't know. I'll buy you some tacos off the taco truck.
It's about to be really entertaining here in just a bit.
Watch, those poor things. They're going to be running around chasing through. Honestly, the ducks are great. They wander through the pond. They sit there and watch drifting. They really don't care for the noise. They're just hanging out.
No, they're definitely unfazed. Actually, we ended up having to scoot the ducks off the track because they were an interference yesterday when we were doing practice. So they do have to be herded off the track on occasion. But as you can see, we've got Jake Clark and JP getting ready to go into their next battle.
Ooh, rollbacks out of Jake.
That is beautiful.
Aggressive. Remember to support your local raceways. Just like Mid-Pond hosting Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. Our both drivers are back up on the line, ready to battle it out here. Jake and JP. JP piloting that red E46, fighting himself back out, breaking into practice, finding some overnight parts, getting back out on track. Jake, unfortunately, seeing hopefully a issue in the past, but a plaguing issue for Jake has put him down into the loser's bracket where now he has to battle it out between JP.
Yeah, we'll see if the issue continues to plague him here, but again, not something we're accustomed to seeing from Jake.
Well, today's a new day and it's a new battle.
Today is a new day.
Bottom half of our losers bracket. Let's see who's going to work their way back out. They only got one more life left. This double elimination format of round 4 Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. Jake blazes off the line and initiates JP shortly behind him. Both drivers barking through outside zone number 1. Jake dumps himself into outside 2. JP taking a much tighter line, trying to close that gap up. start lighting the tires back off to set that 846 back up behind Jake's S13, doing a fantastic job getting that rear axle through outside 3, jumps into outside 4. JP really starting to put the pressure on now, but Jake just driving that S13 away from that E46 of JP as both drivers get to outside 5, shoves back up to that outside touch and go, and curls back into that front clip. JP a little wavering in that chase, but Jake looks like he's cleaned up whatever issue was plaguing him.
Yeah, we've gone over those issues, and JP, I want to watch this. Yeah, he came way inside.
Trying to clean it up, but that's not what our judges want to see. Our judges want to see our driver mimicking both line and angle, falling into their pocket. Now, our judges did say in our drivers' meeting that our drivers, if they have to, make small sacrifices as quickly as possible to get back into the ideal position. But JP, unfortunately, struggling a little bit behind Jake's line here, as Jake does a fantastic job finishing off his lap. Jake now having the responsibility to chase, JP now the lead. We'll see what JP's machine is capable of in that lead position. That E46 already tearing itself apart, getting repaired. Jake, with his own problems out here, now repaired. Let's see what these gentlemen can do, fighting it back out to get back up into the winner's bracket. Single life left out here. And it looks like our judges are ready, waiting for our lights to illuminate and extinguish. JP taking that lead with that E46.
Let's hear that 2J scream.
All right, here we go. JP taking that lead, blazing off the starting line. Jake trying to close up that gap as both drivers dump into outside zone number 2. Jake doing a good job falling into that pocket there, trying to put the pressure on to JP's E46. Both drivers transition to outside 3. JP doing a great job shooting that rear axle of that BMW. Now, as I say that, he pulls out of outside 3 early. Jake jumps through the smoke, getting into outside 4, starting to put the pressure on there. I know JP can hear that S13 screaming in his windows. Both drivers dump into outside 5, going into that touch and go, and Jake really putting the pressure on as JP tries to stab the guys. They go across that front inside clip and finishes off the lap. JP had to pull a little angle out. Jake just getting bit off on the side of the track going to that front inside clip.
Yeah, those Teknovas are really working well for JP. He is definitely gripped up.
Maybe the deficit to put JP in his chase position, trying to follow Jake, just a little too much bite in the car. But you can see Jake navigating behind that faster, quote-unquote, faster car of that E46 of JP, as Jake's doing a phenomenal job. You can see here, taking some line sacrifices to put that pressure back on and jump himself back into outside 5, where JP makes a sacrifice here. Jake puts the pressure on, and it looks like a little bobble there from JP. We'll have to see how our judges weigh that out, but nonetheless, both drivers survive the lap. We'll get them flipped back around. Oh, come here, little duckies. Be my friend.
You're going to have to do better than that.
I don't have any snacks left. I ate them all. All right, so we got our drivers flipped back around.
Just waiting on a verdict.
Patiently waiting. Our next 2 drivers warming up their tires as we speak. We're going to be jumping back up to the top side of the bracket. If you guys are not following that live bracket, it is pinned to the top of the chat. Make sure you get on there. Hit the refresh button every once in a while and make sure you are up to date. But we're going to jump into our number 1 qualifier, Taylor Hall, going up against Drew Smith, who took out Dustin in the top 16.
Yeah, this is the battle I was kind of probing Drew about. I was like, you know, everybody's been saying you're going to be the one to beat Taylor Hall. He's like, oh, no, you know. But
well, he's getting his chance right now.
He's definitely getting his chance.
We're going to see how it shakes out in just a moment. Just waiting on that final verdict between JP and Jake. And it looks like we have a winner. JP with the E46 takes the win. An unfortunate turn of events for Jake, but JP survives another battle. We're going to parade these guys back around the beautiful layout here at round 4. Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series here at Mid-Pond Raceway and Events Complex. As Jake lights the tires off in a celebratory burnout, we love to see the energy here. A big shout to Jake and his team throwing down.
Jake sending it out with a fanfare. Now, unfortunately, Jake is now officially out of the competition here for round 4 because he did lose against Trevor Johnstone earlier. So he is officially out now.
Hate to see it.
Hate to see it, but hey, Jake is a fantastic competitor. We do hope to see him back here for round 5.
All right, it looks like we got Taylor and Drew locked themselves in. Taylor taking that lead position, our number 1 qualifier, gets the choice between lead or chase, and then getting chased down by Drew Smith in that Fox Body Mustang. Taylor piloting, which basically a Corvette underneath that shell.
The Monte Veto.
Ah, there you go. All right, let's see what he's got. Our number 1 qualifier taking that lead position. Hull blazes off the starting line, but Drew is shortly behind him. Both drivers dump into outside 1. Hull getting the backside of that rear axle of that car into outside zone number 2 as Drew's starting to put the pressure on, barking at the door handle as both drivers transition to outside 3. Hull starting to step away now. Drew falling shortly behind, trying to make some sacrifices to clean that back up, and jumps back into position in the outside 4. Starting to make his presence known, but Hull is screaming out of outside 4 into 5. Drew's starting to make his move now, making small sacrifices to keep that proximity as he gets right in there, and then a little too much shove out of Drew and his Mustang as Hull makes his way over the finish line.
Oh man, such great pressure from Andrew all throughout that run until right towards the end.
Yeah, you can see Drew really driving that Fox body Mustang, trying to close up some deficits all the way through outside 1. You can see him make his move into outside 2, exiting outside 2 into outside 3. Hull doing a phenomenal job, keeping a ton of trajectory and momentum through all of our zones here. And Drew just trying to get that Mustang to get back into the show, back into our judges' ideal pocket. But unfortunately, Drew just taking a little too much sauce, maybe a little hang from Hull there from the outside zone, but Hull blazing it off across the finish line.
Just in that autopilot, he has just got that track dialed in.
All right, so Drew's responsibility now in the lead position, going to get chased down by our number 1 qualifier, Taylor Hull. Our lights are illuminated, waiting for the extinguish, and Drew taking that lead position in that Fox body Mustang. And here we go, Smith initiates just shy of outside zone number 1, curls that rear axle back in. The rear bumper does count for our zones here, so he curls back in that outside 2. Hull a little bit behind there, giving some room to transition to outside 3 as Smith jumps himself into outside 3, locks that rear axle in, jumping himself into outside 4 now, taking that Mustang out, doing a fantastic job as Hull starting to bark at the side window of the Mustang. Drew doing a great job, just shy of outside 5. A little dip out of that touch and go, gets that front inside clip as Hull shortly behind him across the finish line there. We're going to have to see what our judges like to see. Taylor putting the pressure on. Drew getting through the checklist. A little waiver here and there. Could be deeper here and there. But nonetheless, a solid lap. A solid lap out of Drew. And go up against our number 1 qualifier. Somebody that's been locked in almost every round here. Definitely have to see how our judges fare this out.
All right, just a reminder, if you are following along at home, we've got the bracket pinned at the top of the chat for you, as well as the Race Data Labs data. It's going to be available for several days after, so that you can follow along, watching not just the specs that we have for the drivers for their overall numbers for angle, speed, and zone, but you can also watch the runs themselves. So
be on the
lookout for that. That's super freaking cool.
All right, so we got Drew Smith patiently waiting against Taylor Hull. Drew qualifying number 9, going up against that number 1 qualifier, Taylor Hull. And it looks like Taylor Hull is going to take the win. But the weekend's not over for Drew and his Mustang, as he's going to fall into that loser bracket now. And Hull's going to work his way into the Final 4.
All right, up next we have got Brandon Bass going up against Kashad Parson. Kashad, this is...
Bass is driving that Mark III Supra, street driven down here, a local if you will, but nonetheless street drove his car out to the track, now thrashing her down. Parson looking good throughout practice, looking super solid, obviously getting a win out of Frank in the top 16, working his way into the top 8. Now he's got to work out and get past Brandon, but Brandon's been pretty locked.
Yeah, so both of these drivers have both won their previous battles. So Brandon won against Hannah earlier. Kashad won against Frank DeLeon.
All right, looks like Brandon's going to lock himself into that lead position. Parson the chase. Parson piloting that S13 hatch. Bass in that Mark III Supra. My brethren. All right, Brandon. Got to go through our judges' checklist. Got to make sure he keeps the rear axle of that car as close as possible to those rear outside zones. We only have 1 touch and go to inside clip. Let's see what he's got now. This is round 4, Klutch Kickers $100,000 drift series as Brandon Bass throws that Mark III Super into outside 1. Parson, a little bit of a bobble there as he tries to correct going to outside 2 as Bass, and look, Parson shuts it down as I say that, as Bass is going to continue through outside 3. Bass in his Supra working his way through outside 4. All he needs to do is finish off his lap. Parson's still working his way back to the backside of the grid. I'm unaware if his car is still on or off as Brandon's going to finish off his lap here. Oh, it looks like Parsons got a D-bead. Tire came off of the car. Looks like up right there on the screen. It looks like it just D-beaded it. Yep, right there. He lost his tire.
So since it was not caused by contact, he is going to have to take a timeout for that if he wants to get back into the action.
We'll have to clarify he can put a new tire on there via the rules. I'll do it here, so bear with me.
Yep, just a reminder, you can log on to clutchkickers.com, download the judging criteria to see what the judges are looking for as they are monitoring these runs.
Also, you can get signed up for round 5. Driver registration is live. Hit the link in the bio on Instagram. Get signed up, round 5. We'd love to see you out here. All right, Brandon Bass sitting there patiently on the line, surviving his lap. Unfortunately, Parson with the D-beat, returning to the pits.
Just waiting on clarification on Kashad's next moves. Sending Brandon Bass back in, so that tells me that they are going to confirm let Kashad. I don't want to say confirm, but
never say never.
Never say never. Confirmed, we are going to get a comp timeout for Kashad.
While we got a little bit of downtime, that race data labs, I'm going to jog right back over to it. I want to find out who's got the largest angle out here, the max angle from Dustin. I wonder what car that was in. We could actually go back and watch the 3D replay from it, and depending on what car was registered with those sweet RFID tags on each one of those cars, the Wally system picks all that up. It's an incredible amount of telemetry here. You guys go check it out. And the highest average angle from Grindle at 45 degrees for our entire track. This is just new information that I've never been able to see before. It is cool to check it out. It is cool to watch the runs, look at all this stuff. Never mind from a perspective of a driver or even a spotter. This is a crazy amount of information available. And for you guys at home, please wander through, check it all out. The information will be available for a few short days on that Race Data Labs server until they have their next event outing. Thank you guys for joining us here at Round 4 Clutch Kickers Drift Series. We got our next battle up on the line. It looks like we got Cardoso locking himself up against none other than Grindle.
Yeah, Cardoso last round, unfortunately, was struggling with some gear issues. Dad was able to completely change out the gearbox after this past round. He did ended up spinning a rod bearing, spun a bearing, I should say, after practice on Sunday last round. Was able to get that fixed.
Impressive.
So looks like he's back in business and looking pretty good. Number 2 for our points. Grindle not far behind him, though, holding that number 4 spot, really trying to battle JP out for it.
All right, here we go. Cardoso taking that lead. Grindle to chase him down. Cardoso in that 350Z. Grindle putting the pressure on now, getting super aggressive with his proximity, but his line choice being even more aggressive as he waits to actually put some patience to get fallback behind Cardoso 350Z through outside zone number 3. Both drivers rotate. It's Grindle with a massive correction behind Cardoso going into outside 4. Hate to see it out of Grindle, a rocket ship getting bitten up, diving into outside 4 as Cardoso going to finish off his lap strong. Major mistake out of Grindle here. Hate to see it.
Yeah.
Hate to see it. As you guys are watching on the live stream at home, you're going to see Cardoso jump himself into outside zone number 1. Grindle really tight on his line choice there as Cardoso navigating through the rest of outside 2. I can only imagine he's seeing the S14 right in front of his windshield, but he's doing a fantastic job navigating through outside 3, and it looks like Grindle just got a bit too aggressive and bit off a little too much that he could chew, made contact into outside 4. Unfortunately, that's going to be a risk that has not worked out for him. Now in a deficit going to the back half of this battle. Cardoso now to chase, Grindle now to lead. Grindle really is going to have to throw down a heater here, cause a mistake out of Cardoso and his 350Z. And our judges are ready. Lights illuminated. Cardoso getting a little bit of a hop there, knowing that Grindle is a rocket ship of a machine. Both drivers leave the starting line. Grindle getting into outside zone number 1, working himself all the way down to outside 2. Cardoso trying to put the pressure on now as both drivers navigate to outside 3. Grindle starting to walk away, jumping in outside 3 a little earlier, but Cardoso is shortly behind him as that 3 can see as they both drivers working their way to outside 4. Cardoso giving a lot of patience, but Grindle's walking away with it through outside 4, taking all that energy and jumping up into outside 5, but Cardoso's starting to close the gap up now as both drivers get to that touch and go. And Grindle goes super wide, losing it off track, and Cardoso makes the pass to the inside. Love to see a pass and drifting, you know? Unfortunately for Grindle, finding out a little too much sauce drowns out the taco, you know?
A little too much Cholula.
Yeah, it's all hot sauce out there. Grindle keeping it super spicy. Cardoso, we'll have to see how this weighs out in our judges' eyes. Shaking it up here. But don't worry, both these guys still have 2 lives left. The weekend is not done, regardless of who takes the win here. They'll drop down into the losers bracket where they'll have to fight their way back up. Unfortunate turn of events for Grindle, finding the dirt on that backside. That's a rough turn to find the off track too.
Yeah, true. On the other side of that turn, there is a nice ravine, which if you find yourself in it, good luck.
And it looks like it's official. Cardoso gets the win. Cardoso gets the win. All right, it looks like we're going to bring that Bass and Parson battle back up right now. As I say that, I can't find it. Thank you guys for joining us here at round 4 of Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series here at Mid-Pond Raceway and Event Complex. Beautiful facility, beautiful weather. Sun's tucked away a little bit now, nice and chilly. I'm having a great time.
I'm having a great time.
A couple of our spectators, hi spectators, y'all are doing great. Yeah, all y'all. Yeah, I'm looking at you, brother.
We see you.
Yeah, no, you. I see you, dude. Yeah, hi. Hey, dude. Everybody here is having a good time. Big shout out to our teams, our drivers, our crew, and our staff for hanging out with us here at Mid-Pond. All right, that's the second half of that battle I was talking about. Bass now with that Mark III Super back out, warm up his tires, followed by Parson with that D-beat, an unfortunate turn event, ripping a tire off going into outside zone number 1. Let's see if he can keep the rubber on the wheel, not only the road. And Bass patiently waiting on the backside of that burnout box for his chance at the second half of this battle.
Could have been a situation where he was just running a little too low pressure, trying to be extra gripped up for this battle against Brandon Bass, but who knows? Anything can happen.
I don't know. Brandon's in a street car. Drove that thing here.
Anything's a street car if you believe in yourself.
That is true. That is great. Wise words, you know?
You street drove your drift car from
It is.
Virginia for 12 hours?
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
No top?
I don't have any windows, so
No.
I'm
windows,
I'm
no
looking
top.
forward to tomorrow. All right, here we go. Second half of the battle here. Parson piloting that S13. He's got to keep the rubber on now as Bass and that Mark III Supra chasing him down. Parson jumps out in the outside zone number 1, keeping the tires on. Oh, as I say that,
don't hit my husband. Thank you.
he might be on, but he's out. He's exit stage left. He's far exit out of the track as Bass is going to finish off his lap here. Bass in that chase position is going to be at the advantage here. He doesn't really have to finish the lap as his responsibility was to mimic our lead driver. Thankfully, he did not as Parson left the chat.
But Kashad is okay. We can confirm he did. Looks like he hit that bank a little hard, but he is able to drive the car off on its own power. From this angle, it looked like he was going straight towards Lucas, and I kind of panicked a little bit. I panicked for them both of my boys.
He ripped off another tire.
Oh, no.
Tire slayer over here. Hate to see it. Looks like the car's making his way on his own accord, unfortunately. Just asking a little too much out of the rubber there. Can't keep the tire on the wheel, but it's going to look like Bass is going to get the win here. A big, great show from Parson, but he is not done. He's still sitting at that top bracket. So this is his first loss. He'll just drop into the losers bracket, maybe add a little tire pressure, and we'll see him later today for another battle before he finally ends his weekend here at round 4. Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. It is a season. It's a full point series. You guys had a full season here. This is round 4. We got one more round. You get signed up. Hit the social, hit the Instagram, Klutch Kickers, get the link, sign up for round 5. Love to see you out here. Bass is taking his cruise back home.
And they just cruise it all the way back on home to a couple doors down.
honestly, he might leave for lunch. You know what I mean?
Next up, we got our battle against North Georgia versus North Florida. Hayden Catrell versus Trevor Johnstone.
Johnstone falling out of qualifying early, having to get a mechanical fix. Looks like he got it all squared away. Back into our battles here. And now he's sitting pretty in the top 8, looking to get into that final 4 position. Hayden already locked himself into that 350Z, taking that lead position. He's going to get chased down by that S550 of Johnstone. And here we go. Hayden takes that lead, blazes out from that Klutch Kickers tent. Trevor shortly behind him as both drivers get into outside zone number 1. Trevor a bit shy off the box now as Hayden getting into outside 2, keeping that 350Z where our judges want to see it. As Trevor's trying to keep that pressure on as both drivers start smacking the throttle down through outside 3. Hayden doing a good job, a bit shy off the backside box there, giving a chance for Trevor to close up the gap up as both drivers jump into outside 4. Hayden doing a good job with that 350Z, getting it out to our outside 5. A bit shy of the box, maybe that little bit of active arrow helping him out there in our judges' eyes. We'll have to see how that plays out. But nonetheless, Hayden makes it across the finish line. Trevor Johnson shortly behind him in that S550 Mustang. You guys at home watching that in the replay, if you guys are even here, jump on the live stream, jump in the chat, let me know you're here. A couple emojis if you will. Hayden doing a good job through outside 1 and 2. Pulls out of outside 2, getting himself into outside 3. Johnstone trying to close that proximity up, making some sacrifices here as Hayden taking a few off his own, trying to almost run away through outside 3 to dump himself into outside 4. A great line into outside 4, getting himself back nice and wide through that outside zone, just what our judges want to see. Gets himself through outside 5, and Johnstone just falling behind there, not really where our judges want to see. Hayden makes a few mistakes out to that touch and go, kind of deletes that front inside clip altogether across the finish line, but we'll have to see how that shakes out in our judges' eyes. We're going to flip our drivers back around.
Yeah, I know we want to give a lot of credit to that VQ that Hayden is putting through the paces, but really, Hayden is just a fantastic driver. We do have to give him credit where credit is due. I've been watching him for quite some time, have driven with him, and I can tell you he is an absolute animal behind the wheel. So credit to Hayden.
I can also say I got a lap with Hayden this weekend.
That's absolutely.
Cool. Had a great tandem lap with Hayden, gave me a lead. I was just out there hanging out during Friday practice. A good time here at Mid-Pond, but let's get the second half of the battle underway. Trevor now taking that lead position in that S550 Mustang, going up against Hayden in that 350Z. Got 2 throttle bodies underneath the hood of that thing. All right, here we go. Trevor shoves that Mustang into outside zone 1. A little bit of a bobble correction into outside 2. Hayden takes some patience trying to make his move now. He goes in an exit of outside 2 into outside 3. Trevor doing a good job with that Mustang. Got to keep the rear axle of that car all the way through the outside of that cone. It looks like he pulls a little extra, but Hayden's starting to close that gap up now into outside 4. Trevor doing a good job keeping the throttle down, keeping the rear end of that Mustang swinging around through outside 5. A little bit of a brake check there to that touch and go, but pulls it back into that front inside clip. Hayden doing a fantastic job in the chase, correcting for that.
Still a beautiful lead run from Trevor. He has had some couple of different car issues here the past couple of events and throughout today. Throughout this event, I should say. But really, again, we're used to seeing some really strong driving from him as well. So I was really excited to see this battle between these 2 drivers.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor definitely doing a lot of inertia, a lot of energy, just slightly offline where our judges want to see. And Hayden doing a good job navigating behind him. But Trevor definitely driving a beautiful S550 Mustang, if I say so myself. Even with the little boops and damages, that character really builds that entire car. A nice build. And Hayden out here with that 2 throttle body VQ, throwing it down. Unfortunate or fortunate, we'll have to find out from our judges.
You know what? He's got his hood off, and of course I hadn't really been paying attention. Does he? I don't know if he's got a coyote in that.
It sounds a little pingy.
It sounds
a little
like
eco-boosty. We'll have to double check that. Does he have his hood off?
He does have his hood off.
Hey, drone guy,
I wasn't really paying attention, but
let me see what's going on under the hood over there. You know, let me get a smog check for that guy.
I know there's another driver that we have here, Alex DuBois, who unfortunately is not here today. He definitely has a coyote, so I may be getting the engines mixed up here. So apologies, guys, if I'm getting your cars mixed up.
Either way, beautiful car from Trevor. Love to see it out here. Hayden making that VQ work out here in that 350Z. We'll have to see who is going to get the win here from our judges, waiting for that final verdict. That graphic on your screen, Trevor piloting that S550 Mustang, Hayden in that 350Z right behind him.
Oh.
Look at that grid guy. Look at that big stretch.
We love you, Josh. Yeah. You're doing a great job.
And it looks like Hayden's going to get the win.
Hayden gets the win.
Taking it himself into the final 4. But Trevor is not done for the weekend. Double elimination format. He's going to fall into the loser's bracket. I'm actually looking forward to the little parade lap. He's got to come back. I'm going to like peek under the hood.
Oh, I stand corrected. Alex DuBois had a Coyote. I did not realize his engine blew. Timmy, you're keeping me in the loop here, man. I appreciate you're coming in clutch right now in the chat.
Friends like that, you don't need enemies, man.
Thanks,
Jesus.
man. Well, and Madeline just gave me my next favorite thing to call the losers bracket, which is the lovers bracket. We are now officially rebranding that to our lovers bracket because Mid-Pond is for lovers.
All right.
Mid-Pond is for lovers.
Johnstone really lingering out there, brother. You taking the scenery in.
No, he's just hanging out with Josh. Got some communication going on between the judges. Oh, what? A byrun? What? I'm so confused right now.
That's right. We're going to see Trevor.
I'll explain this in just a second. Confirm this is a byrun.
All right, so it looks like Trevor's going to take that S550 Mustang going out through outside zone 1 and 2. You guys are getting that cinematic angle through outside 3. Look at that thing. Let me see under the hood. What you got in there, brother? And shuts her down.
So again, for their byruns, they just have to hit a couple turns to prove that the car can go under its own power. But let's go back to our dilemma with Frank. So because Frank bowed out, Dustin Patton, unfortunately, is also out for the next battle due to the shared car. So even though Hayden won that last battle against Trevor Johnstone, Trevor went ahead and took his bye run while he was out there for the, quote, lovers bracket. So right now we're just going ahead and getting it out of the way while he's out there. And Trevor was a trooper. He said, you know what, I'm here. Let's just go ahead and get it done.
Well, that's neat. I like that. Kept me on my toes. A little extra, you know. Usually you got to pay for that kind of stuff. All right, our next driver is up in the line. Grindle already facing that one loss. Is going to go up against our homecoming queen here, Hannah, with that 350Z.
Somebody get her a crown. She deserves it. She has really progressed a lot throughout this series. Very proud of her. She went from learning her first clutch kicks a few years ago to now being out here competing with some incredible drivers.
Love to see it. You guys can get signed up for yourself. Round 5 registration in the social media links. Check out the Instagram Klutch Kickers for yourself. Get signed up. And here we go. Grindle taking that lead position, shoving all the way through 1 and 2 as Hannah's trying to close that gap up as Grindle's starting to exit outside zone number 2 and get into outside 3. We got our drone man down. Check that guy. Someone shot him out in the sky as Grindle working his way through outside 3, getting into outside 4. Hannah really taking a lot of initiative to try to close out that proximity, but Grindle's machine is just a rocket ship as he's going through the rest of the checklist here at Mid-Pond, getting through that last outside check, through a front inside clip and across the finish line. Hannah survives the lap. I say that, she's in the dirt. Unfortunately, on that back left side, Hannah putting a lot of energy trying to clean up that deficit off of the start line, and honestly, a great drive. It's just at some point that risk is not going to reap rewards, and I got to give her credit for the energy of trying to close that up, taking a car that's obviously a lot slower of a machine, but trying to clean it up now. But now she has the opportunity to cause a mistake in the lead because now Grindle has to do exactly what her responsibilities were in the chase and mimic what Hannah has going on in her leads.
Exactly. And I mean, here's the thing. With comp, this is kind of your time, especially if you're in sort of an experimental phase when you're sort of just getting started into comp. This is your time to figure out what works strategy-wise, what doesn't. Now, granted, Hannah's got a little bit of room for improvement to get up into the point. She's still in our top 10. So Hannah could make some progression here within this round, but we'll see.
I've seen strange things happen before. This is drifting. And if you are new here, anything can happen. Hannah, all she has to do is throw down exactly what our judges want to see. Grindle has to chase it with no errors. We're getting base back out to our grid. A couple drivers needed to parade back out onto our track.
Not sure if we were able to recover the drone or not. It kind of took a little bit more of a beating than anything.
Yeah, who did that? Who hurt my guy?
1, 2, 3, not it.
Yeah, who hurt my guy out there? Once again, thank you guys for joining us here on the live stream and live and in person. Thank you guys in the chat. A couple emojis, if you will, if you're still here. Love to see your energy out here in the chat. We are watching. I'm chiming back and forth. Tara's right there in it all the time. We also have that telemetry from Race Data Labs, the link all up in the chat. We also have the bracket available, that live bracket pinned to the top of the chat. You can get a live feed of exactly what's going on, probably a better understanding of what's happening than I am. Make sure you hit those refresh pages on both of those to get that live telemetry and that live bracket. But thank you once again for joining us on our live stream here at Round 4, Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. It looks like our drivers are working their way back out the grid right now. Grindle now has that chase responsibility. Hannah to lead. Look at the ducks. Look at them guys.
Nah.
Telling you, someone bring me a duck. Dustin, go get me a duck. Give me a duck, dude.
We'll find you a car if you get us a duck. Yeah, we're going to have an ASPCA commercial for you to get a car. You've already been in the pond. We already know this multiple times.
Be careful, dude. There's big fish in there. I'm telling you.
All right, we got Hannah and Grindle ready to battle.
All right, here we go. Lights extinguished. Hannah now taking that responsibility of the lead. All she's got to do is go through our judges' checklist here. She gets in the outside one. And a big shove exit left. It's Grindle not making contact. It looks like he's going to survive the lap here. It's not official, but I think that's going to be one too many for Hannah to get her back out onto track this weekend.
That is the cursed corner for sure.
Yeah, she's been fighting that car, diving that car, trying to wrestle it through outside 1 and 2. But if she survives through outside 1 and 2, she was killing it through our rest of our layout here. An unfortunate turn of events, maybe the pressure, maybe mechanical, we'll never know. I'm not going to speak on that driver's behalf. Hannah did a fantastic job. Thank you for skipping your senior homecoming to come out for round 4, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. But I think it's going to go in Grindle's favor.
I do as well, and I do have to give Hannah kudos as well. That was some good defensive driving technique, or I should say offensive driving technique, because she did kind of feel that she was going to understeer. She quickly dodged out of the way so that Grindle could finish his run. So that was a really good situational awareness on Hannah's part.
All right, once again, make sure you guys check out that Wally system, Race Data Labs. All the runs are live, updated on that system. Check it all out. Wander around as we sit there through the stream. See what the judges are seeing. See what our drivers are seeing. And you yourself can come out to round 5 and get that same telemetry data of your runs. So get signed up. Go to Klutch Kickers on Instagram. Hit the link in the bio. Get signed up for round 5. And it looks like we're going to make it official. Grindle gets the win. Andrew Grindle taking the win. Still in this fight. But unfortunately, Hannah may have time to make homecoming.
I don't know. It's about a 3-hour drive for her, plus time to load the trailer. I don't think it's going to be time. But her boyfriend is here with her today, so that does make it a little bit more special. So not only is she missing her homecoming, he's here with her too. So
love to see it. Good job, Hannah, in your 350Z. But Grindle's going to work his way to what you've dubbed the lover's bracket.
It's not me. I got to give Madeline Patton props on that one. She's the one who came up with the lover's bracket. We'll give her props on that one. Maybe she can convince Grindle to let Dustin borrow his car. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, Dustin's sitting over here.
She's sweet talking in the chat. We'll see what she's capable of.
Look, Dustin's not even paying attention, brother. You're getting an opportunity of a lifetime over there. All right, Alli taking that lead position. Parson to chase. Alli shoves into outside zone number 1. A little correction into outside 2. He's got to keep it out of the dirt. A little correction, pulls back into that inside clip. Parson giving some room for that S13 to work. Parson's hatch falls back into position now for the rest of outside 3. Alli pulls away, keeping that rear axle away from our outside zones here at Klutch Kickers. Works her way through outside 4. Parson shortly behind her. Both drivers worked way into outside 5. Alli cranking angle, almost avoiding outside 5. That thing is hooked up, ready to go forward. I tell you what, Alli does not like these outside zones, but she survives the lap. Parson's shortly behind her.
Allie's another one of those who's just got an absolute lead foot. She can go through this course very quickly, but unfortunately with this layout, you got to hit those outer zones. So let's see what she can do. Coming in with the chase against Kashad, I think having a little bit of a power difference here is going to give her some time to take a step back, relax a little bit, watch his line, hopefully clean some things up a little bit. I got faith in you, Alli. I believe in you, baby.
Well, Parson's got to keep some rubber on the car. That's number 1.
Yeah, well, again, the cursed corner 1. He's DB'd it twice in that corner. We've seen multiple people go off track, so who knows?
Hopefully that guy found an air pressure. Put some pressure in those tires. Or, different wheel. I think it's a different wheel on there.
Could be a wheel problem. Who knows?
But we'll see how it chassis out now as Parson's going to take his lead lap. Alli to chase. Parson piloting that S13 hatch. Alli in the S13 coupe. Both drivers leave our Klutch Kickers start line. Parson getting into outside zone 1. Alli doing a good job as Parson's starting to dip one tire off, maybe two. We'll have to go back for the replay to check it out as Alli is showing a lot of patience there. Getting in, falling back in the pocket now. Alli really starting to showcase what she's capable of, falling in right behind Parson's S13 and both drivers jumping to outside 4.
Good.
Alli doing a fantastic job. She's putting the throttle down now, making her presence known, going out of 4 into outside 5. Little space, a little patience as they go through that touch and go into that final inside clip. Parson survives a lap over the finish line, but Alli is shortly behind him across the finish. If you guys are just joining us in our winners bracket, we have Taylor Hall and Brandon Bass going up against Cardoso and Hayden. But we're right now in what's been dubbed the lovers bracket. Our first of the losers. The first loss is down, but they're not done for the weekend here. Parson, you seeing on the replay, taking his lead lap, and Alli trying to apply the pressure right behind him as they navigate out of 4 into outside 5, up into that touch and go, and into that front inside clip.
I do want to see that run on outer zone 1 more time because it's hard to tell. I could see for sure that there was 1 tire off, obviously, but it did kind of look like there may have been 2 tires off for Kashad. It was really hard to tell. There was a lot of dust that was kicked up. Let's see. Running it back one more time for you guys. 1. Oh, he may have just kept it on the rumples.
Oh, he's stealing.
Ooh.
And it looks like we're going to have a winner here, and it looks like Parson
Kashad.
is going to
He
take
did
the
keep
win.
it on.
Parson gets the win by just inches.
I can't say that on air. I caught myself. Sorry, Mom.
Parson taking the win, just surviving through, taking out Alli, but a great showcase out of Alli there. Unfortunately, Alli's weekend is now done. Parson hanging on by the skin of his teeth, both on track and with a single last elimination still on his belt.
So again, the judges must have seen something watching that race data labs data. Again, looking at the drone footage, it was kind of questionable if we were to be able to scrub back and forth through it, which unfortunately we do not have the luxury of being able to do. We could probably see that it did stay on that rumple, but
hey, he kept the tires on.
But he kept the tires on it.
I mean,
at least on the car.
That's fair. 1 tire off track. He kept the tires on the car. Steps forward, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything's progressive. Positive, progressive steps forward. Love to see it. Love our drivers fighting to get back out here. But unfortunately, Alli's weekend is done. Parson's going to move up into that 24th position on the bracket. If you guys are curious what I'm talking about, hit that live bracket link pinned at the top of the live stream chat, as well as check out that Race Data Labs telemetry live updated. Make sure you just hit the refresh on the page if you're falling a little bit behind. But we are ready and poised for our next battle up.
Yeah, so Alli may be out for this round, but her husband JP is still in it, going up against his buddy Drew Smith.
Drew, a hard-fought battle that got him down into the lovers bracket, and JP already fighting 1 win in this losers bracket. JP piloting that E46 BMW, going up against Drew Smith's Fox Body Mustang. I'm just saying,
Eventually.
man, those ducks, look at them. They're just chilling, dude. They're
So
adorable.
They should just move us down there, so maybe you can like eventually start like baiting the ducks.
I don't know
here.
about you. This is a lot of electronics. I don't want to be toaster in a bathtub vibes in the middle of the pond.
I mean, we got to die at some point. We may as well go out with a bang.
That's fair. All right, sign me up.
All right,
to
let's
the
go.
pond. All right, here we go. We got our judges illuminated. We got the green light, waiting for them lights to extinguish the start. Drew Smith taking that lead. JP to chase. Smith in that Fox Body Mustang blazes into that lead position. JP shortly behind them with that BMW as both drivers work their way through outside 1, dumping in the outside 2. JP makes a stab trying to clean up top proximity as Drew taking that wide line our judges want to see, getting himself in that rear axle of that Mustang into outside 3. JP getting whirled and wild going into outside 4, trying to fall back into that pocket there, making the sacrifice to try to get what our judges want to see as Drew doing a fantastic job through outside 5, goes up to that touch and go, curls back into that front inside clip where JP keeping a little tighter of a line, trying to bark that proximity back behind the line, but honestly, Drew did a great job in that lead.
Well, and most people aren't going to believe this, but Drew literally pulled that engine out of the junkyard. Didn't do much to it, threw it right in the car, and pretty much ready to go. Stark contrast, JP has put a lot of time, money, and energy into fine-tuning this E46 and the JZ that's in it. It's a fantastic machine. And I got to say, I'm really proud of both of these drivers for both of the commitments that they have in totally different levels and what they bring to this competition.
Well, we'll see what that commitment level is going to showcase now as Drew Smith is in that chase position with that Fox Body Mustang. Going up against JP with that BMW right to his left. Poised and ready underneath that Klutch Kickers tent. Waiting for our judges' green light, and there we have it. Our beautiful grid workers waiting for those lights to extinguish. You can hear them all the way over here. And here we go. JP taking that BMW in that lead position, getting into outside zone number 1. Drew Smith keeping that proximity tight, going all the way now. And it looks like JP's going to dip a tire. Drew making a major correction, trying to follow that line through. A big decel out of JP's BMW going off track with only a single introduction for a single tile. And Drew trying to make the presence known now, making up to it through outside 4. Maybe a little bit too much bark as both drivers worked their way to outside 5. And here Drew starts to make another move, almost getting to that front inside clip first. And JP exits stage left. What a wild run. Honestly, you guys are keeping me on my toes. I never know what's going to happen here. The tight track here, the layout is demanding and slightly technical here at Mid-Pond. Both drivers really showcasing why they're up here, putting all the aggression out on the line. Sometimes you risk it though, you don't get the biscuit. Hate to see some of these mistakes, but we'll have to go to our judges to find the final verdict. I love the aggression nonetheless.
Oh, man. Yeah, JP did almost take a little bit of a drink there in the ravine. Did not see that.
All right, let's make it official. Let's see our final verdict for our battle here. Round 4, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. Drew Smith in that Fox Body Mustang, JP Windham in that JZ powered E46 BMW. Is that R33 wheels on the back? Man of culture, you know? Man of culture. He's got R33 wheels on the back of a BMW. You can't buy taste, you know?
No,
you
absolutely
can't buy
not.
taste. All right, our judges are still deliberating on that final verdict here. You can see our number 1 qualifier, Taylor Hull, warming up his tires shortly behind him. He's got to go up against Bass in our final 4. Bass.
That's all right. What's in the pond?
Fish. Brandon Bass is out here going up against Taylor Hull.
And Andrew Smith takes the win.
Nice good job, Andrew Smith. An unfortunate turn of events for JP. That is going to end his weekend down in the lovers bracket. Drew to fight another day. He's going to have to take out Parsons. As long as Parsons can keep the tires on the wheels and the track.
I have faith. Don't dull his shine. I believe in him.
Hey,
I believe in him.
Progressive steps forward. Parson is still fighting. He's got 1 life left, working his way through that loser's bracket.
Don't make me do like what I do with my ladies' events. I'm going to start doing positive affirmations in the drivers' meetings.
Yeah, send them through. I need them too. All right, our next driver's up on the line. That number 1 qualifier, Taylor Hull, piloting that. What'd you dub it?
The Monty Veto.
Monty Veto, and going up against Brandon. All right, Taylor Hull taking that lead position. And Brandon shortly behind him. Taylor laces out to that Klutch Kickers tent. Shoves out through outside zone number 1. Brandon taking a little bit of an angle sacrifice, trying to close that proximity up. We want to see the drivers match our lead driver's angle. Brandon taking some aggression there. Bass tries to make some move now, jumping into outside zone number 4. Getting to the door handler, Taylor Hull's Corvette. Underneath the side, going out to outside 5. Brandon doing a good job getting to that touch and go. And unfortunate, looks like Brandon's going to make a few sacrifices there as Hull works his way through that touch and go into that front inside clip. Excuse me, took a little tire smoke there.
Oh, that's all right.
Had to take a swig. All right, you guys at home are watching that replay. Taylor Hull navigating that car through outside zone number 3, right across the pond here. Doing a good job getting that rear axle where our judges want to see it. Gets set up into outside 4. You see Brandon start to make some aggressive moves here, but unfortunately Taylor's just walking away from that Mark 3 Supra as both drivers get through outside 5. Taylor doing a good job getting to that touch and go. Brandon trying to make some sacrifices, trying to close up for that final inside clip. And across the finish line, we got our drivers now flipped back around. Brandon's going to take that lead position, getting chased down by Taylor. All right, here we go. Second half of the battle. Brandon Bass taking that lead. Getting chased down by Taylor Hall. Both drivers initiate. Brandon getting into outside zone number 1, keeping that trajectory to outside 2. A nice flowy trajectory out of the Mark III Supra as both drivers exit outside 2, getting into outside 3. Taylor starting to put the pressure on right behind that Mark III Supra. Brandon and both drivers get through outside 3, transition to outside 4. Brandon doing a good job keeping that rear axle of the Supra right where it needs to be. Taylor being aggressive all the way through outside 4, jumps all the way out to outside 5. Brandon still doing a fantastic job in the lead, gets to that touch and go, curls back into that front inside clip, but Taylor Hull is shortly behind him and across the finish line. You can see at the replay, Brandon doing a fantastic job through outside zone number 1. He was locked and loaded for both outside 1 and 2 trajectory, doing a great job of throttle management, getting that car exactly where I just want to see it. But Taylor is short behind him, right on the rear bumper of that Mark III Supra. Navigating through outside zone number 3, Brandon rotates into outside 4, but Taylor cannot be shaken, shortly behind him. Taylor falls a little behind on matching the angle as the Supra really starts to put the throttle down on the exit of 3 and 4, and now out to 5, gets out to that touch and go. Taylor cannot be shaken though, as Brandon's still doing a fantastic job in the lead position. We're gonna have to go over to our judges for our final verdict here. Definitely not why I don't want to be a judge. Now we get to talking to the stick. Like, I'll hang out over here all day long. Some of these calls are definitely difficult.
Do not want to be that guy, that is for sure.
And it looks like Taylor Hull's gonna get the win. Taylor Hull gets the win, taking out Brandon Bass. All right, if you guys are unaware or just joining us, that live bracket link is in the top of the chat. Make sure you click it, get up to date, hit that refresh button. Also, that telemetry, thanks to Race Data Labs, that Wally system readily available to all our drivers. And you guys at home, check out individual laps, individual runs, check out highest speed, highest angle, rate to angle, which I think is a cool telemetry. Also the qualifying results, etc. All the runs separated by days, practice, qualifying. Amazing technology here. Cool to see the input here. If you want yourself to get in that telemetry, you got to get signed up. Round 5, dude. Hit the Instagram. Klutch Kickers. Get signed up. Round 5. Right now. What are you waiting for? No.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now. All right. Thank you guys for joining us here. Ooh. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we're good. Did you have a good bathroom break there? So just so you guys know, the judges had to take a quick bio break.
Right in the pond. Right in the pond.
Little public spectacle here for all. It's a family-friendly event.
Thank you guys for joining us here at round 4 of Klutch Kickers here at Mid-Pond Raceway and Event Complex. A big shout to everybody here, staff, Mid-Pond, Klutch Kickers team. I am excited to see the progression of both the series and this track. If you guys haven't seen it already, check out the renders of the track extensions. But like, you're gonna have to show up in real life to see the absolute massive elevation here. When this is completed, speed is going to be tripled, quadrupled. It is a crazy amount of elevation. It's going to be a fantastic track layout. Never mind all the other additions to Paddock and the rest of the raceway and other events as well. Get signed up for round 5. It helps make the track happen faster.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for all you guys, drivers, crews, for hanging out with us. Thank you, Tara, for having me.
Thank you, Mike.
I'm having a great time.
Thank you.
Know?
Likewise.
I'll say it again. I've gone on a boat. I've gone off-roading. I've gone drifting. There's a lot of stuff here.
Tell me, you're going to be able to write a country song by the time you leave Alabama.
Yeah. After I've been yapping with y'all the whole time, really working on my radio.
You're going to have a little twang.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend's going to be like, what the?
Look out for my album. All right? On Spotify at some point. All right, we're getting our next driver's up on the line. Still waiting for our men of importance back into the tower. Let's see what the chat's going on. What's going on?
Are y'all stirring up trouble?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, internet guy's back. Welcome back, internet guy.
It takes me a little bit to read, you know. Yeah. I see you guys. A couple emojis in there. Show me your favorite emoji. Like, I want like a vote, if you will. Like your favorite one. Or like start like dub a driver to an emoji. I like that too. You know, show your appreciation to a driver with like your favorite emoji. That correlates with that driver. Keep it fun. Keep it PG-13. This is a family show.
On Tuesdays.
Good thing it's Saturday. All right. I'm going to search through some race data labs, you know? Like, you guys at home, links in the chat. You can check out the same telemetry data from the Wally system. Really super cool. Let's go top 5 max angle out here.
Ooh, okay.
Dustin, 81 degrees. That's a lot. Drew, 78. Hayden, 78. Brandon, 72. Andrew, 71. Damn, Dustin, chill out, dude. 81.
Right? I wonder how that differs from his rounds in the 350Z.
Who knows? Who knows what car that's in?
I have a feeling his team is going to be building him an S14. Actually, I'm going to spill a little tea here. I'm
top
not
secrets.
Okay.
Top secrets. You get easy. You know what's also cool? Like,
Secret
you
time.
can go in there and you get a 3D replay of that max angle. Like, you just click on the link. You guys can do the exact same thing. The server's up. Thanks to Race Data Lab, they're hosting this information for us until their next eventscape. But I can literally watch a run directly here. You guys at home can click on any run from the weekend. I mean, let me turn this around real quick for you. Like, you see that? That's neat, you know? Like, never mind.
Who needs Netflix?
Yeah. I mean, if you're curious, if your favorite driver, or if you would get signed up for round 5, you could show up here and get your own telemetry data. And they're working on implementing this into games like instead of Corsa, where you can then put essentially your run in and drive with drivers out here that drove their laps.
Yeah.
So, like, support your local raceway, more importantly, and sign up for round 5. Go on Klutch Kickers on Instagram, get signed up.
And do be on the
Serious.
lookout.
I'm super serial. Get signed up now.
Do be on the lookout. We are trying to get that track map out to you sooner so that you can try it out on Assetto Corsa. Give us feedback. We want to hear your thoughts. So round 5, our big finale, which is going to be when we get those championship dollars. So anxious to hear your feedback. Only so many layouts that we can do with the current setup, but lots of different options with reverse, standard layout. Obviously, the drivers here today have really been enjoying the reverse layout. I personally have finally started to grow towards liking the reverse layout. I like to see it happen more.
I got to drive my first laps here at Mid-Pond on the reverse layout. I've only driven the sim, I guess what we call a regular layout.
Yeah.
And it's a fun layout. It's technical. It demands a drive that is confident with a lot of inertia. It is not a lazy drive in any fashion. Even outside 1 to outside 2 is a lot of trajectory and momentum with a lot of commitment. And we'll see how that hashes out now with Hayden taking that lead position and Cardoso to chase. Hayden has to survive outside 1 as he clicks in right now. Good trajectory out of Hayden as he sets himself back up for outside 2. Cardoso getting a little bitey there going through outside 2. Hayden's going to rotate his 350Z up into outside 3 as Cardoso makes his move with his LS powered 350Z right behind him. The VQ of Hayden going into outside 4 as both drivers navigate, survive through outside 4. Hayden starting to put the throttle back down, but Cardoso barking at the backside of his 350Z. Hayden doing a fantastic job through outside 5 and the touch and go. A bit shy off that front inside clip as Cardoso almost drag racing him across the finish line.
Cabot Cardoso with that surge, I think scared some of the audience members. I saw that flinch over there, Shanna. You were a little scared. That was going to be a little contact. Great surge. Great, fantastic battle against the 2 350Zs. Really, I'm surprised this has been the first battle that we've had against 2 350Zs. That's unheard of. We always have 350Zs battles in this comp. So, shocking that this is the first one we've had for the day.
A big Nissan fan here, but I've moved on to Toyotas like a real man. No hate.
Oh,
no hate.
jeez. Womp, womp, womp.
I've look, soft spot for my Nissans, but they're soft too. All right, Hayden piloting his Nissan, that 350Z now taking that chase. Cardoso with his 350Z now sitting in the lead. Cardoso with a pretty healthy LS setup underneath the hood of that car.
God, it's beastly. His dad definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to building engines. That is for sure.
But Hayden's got 2 throttle bodies. All right. All right, so here we go. Cardoso taking that lead position. Hayden to chase him down. Cardoso really showcasing what that LS power is capable of as Hayden's trying to make some sacrifices to get himself back into the game. And I say that as Cardoso puts too much sauce. Hayden gives him some space, almost not enough space. Give us some patience as Cardoso gets back on the track. And Hayden really barking at the side of Cardoso's 350Z now. Unnecessary risk out of Hayden, but he's here for a good time, not a long time, as both drivers going to navigate through that touch and go and that front inside clip. An unfortunate turn of event. Cardoso just a little too much sauce going into outside 2. Let's run it back on the replay on the live stream. Let's see what happened here. Cardoso really blazing the tires off, getting as fast as he possibly can. Pulls away from outside 1 just a little bit early. Sends a ton of trajectory into outside 2, and unfortunately just finds the dirt. Hayden, a tighter line.
That may have been 2 tires. Again, it's hard. I just missed it. I was not paying attention, unfortunately. I should have been scrubbing. Bad. Let me just
to the
I'm
wall.
gonna watch my computer screen here since I got the YouTube, which is a little bit of a delay.
But nonetheless, Cardoso put him on a show, knowing he made a major mistake. Hayden giving him a little room to play, but unfortunately, Cardoso with a major mistake in that lead position.
Cab may have been able to hang on to that second tire. I don't believe he dropped 2 tires, but we will have the judges confirm. And it's confirmed Hayden Catrell gets the win. Congratulations, Hayden. Now, this was Cabot's first loss, if I am not mistaken, so Cab is still in it to win it. While we're waiting on our drivers to get staged, I do have to do a shameless plug. Casey Hawkins, my brother, my teammate, happy birthday. I'm sorry I'm not there to party with you, but I already know that you're several beers in just based on what you're posting in the chat, so I love you. Happy birthday.
Don't stop now, brother. All right, it looks like we got our next battle up on the line. This is going to be what's dubbed the Lovers Bracket. We got Johnstone going up against Grindle. Trevor in that S550 Mustang going up against Andrew with that S14.9. All right, both drivers are set and ready. Andrew taking that lead position. Trevor to chase. Here in the defeated bracket. 1 life left here. Both drivers shoot out from the Klutch Kicker tent. Grindle getting himself into outside zone number 1, works his way into outside zone number 2. Trevor trying to keep that proximity, making some sacrifices as they exit 2, getting to outside 3. Andrew really putting the power down now as that S14 rotates into outside 4. As Trevor jumps to the side of the S14, making his presence known as an exit 4 going into outside 5. Grindle doing a fantastic job, making some space here, getting to that touch and go into that front inside clip as Trevor making another sacrifice, trying to close that gap up across the finish line.
That just sounded, if you didn't watch anything, just listening to that battle sounded phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely a lot of noises. These guys don't like mufflers at all. Grindle doing a great job in the lead position. You can see him navigating through outside zone number 3. Trevor making some sacrifices, pulling a little angle out, trying to close it back up. As I've stated before, our judges would like to see if you have to fall out of that pocket, make your move for correction as quickly and use the least amount of track real estate to make that happen. But Grindle is just driving a weapon of a vehicle right now, and Trevor's S550 Mustang doing everything he can to close that gap up. All right, we got our drivers now flipped around. Trevor to take that lead, Andrew to chase. Impressive. All right, Trevor piloting that S550 Mustang. Beautiful car. Got some love damage on it. Always cool to see a little car with some character, especially out here thrashing in competition. Round 4, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series, going up against the absolute weapon of a machine of Andrew Grindle. And here we go, lights are extinguished. Trevor with the responsibility of the lead. Shoots out from under the tent, gets out to outside zone number 1, getting the backside of that Mustang where it needs to go for our judges. Getting through outside 2, Grindle starting to put the pressure on, matching the angle out of 2. Just on the backside of the bumper of the Mustang, both drivers finish off outside 3 with a ton of energy. Trevor rotates through, Grindle hops through his slow trail, getting through outside 4. Grindle really putting the pressure on the side of that Mustang as both drivers work their way into outside 5. Grindle doing a fantastic job chasing down that Mustang. As I say that, Trevor really shutting the door on Grindle across the finish line. What a battle, a fist fight across the finish line. A great drive out of Trevor in his S550, and Andrew Grindle putting the pressure on.
Absolutely. Looks like as he was coming out of outer zone 2, going into outer zone 3, Grindle just really left foot braking, keeping that proximity right there on Trevor. Of course, you can't see it from this angle. He's got that brake light on his front windshield. It's fantastic to be able to tell what he is doing in the driver's seat. Little handbrake there. Shoo, shoo, shoo-wee.
Almost got him there. All right.
Well, while we are waiting on the judges to deliberate on this one, I did want to clarify something on the battle against Cabot and Hayden. So Hayden did obviously get the win, but the reason, one of the main reasons why I'll say this, is Cab did have 2 tires off on that second outer zone. So as he was coming through that first hairpin, he did drop 2 tires, unfortunately, so that did give him a 0. But again, Cabot still has an opportunity, goes into the lovers bracket as we have so lovingly dubbed it. And yeah, so we'll see Cab here again in just a bit.
All right, you're seeing Trevor Johnstone's S550 Mustang. Cool car sitting there waiting for our judge's verdict. Right behind him, Andrew's S14.9, absolute weapon of a vehicle. It's got some pedigree to it as well, some history, I'm being told. But you know, like, it doesn't matter what you bring out here. Drifting's anybody's game. That's why we swap them around, lead and chase, especially here at Mid-Pond. This layout does demand a good, confident drive out of both drivers, which a good car gives you a lot of real estate to play in. And you got to take some risks to get some wins out here at Klutch Kickers. But that's why the big checks for the podium are going to be in the pond. I'm telling you, I'm getting these dudes in the water.
Well, you know what? Grindle may be the one to do it. He is actually, I believe, for round 5. So, you know, several of these drivers compete in other competitions. He is in UDC. And so I think he is going to miss his opportunity to reclaim his crown or to fight for his crown in OSW for their, what is it, the, almost said Spring Break Bash. Geez, Tara, that's not it.
Oh,
Black Friday.
Yeah, Black Friday. King.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think he's going to have to miss that, which is one of the team's favorite events of the year, Whoops Motorsports teams included. So he's going to have to miss that in order to be here with us.
Well, both these gentlemen are going to have to get flipped back around because that's a one more time judgment from our judges. Both Trevor and Andrew are going to have to flip it back and see who actually is going to walk away with a victory here.
They will get some time to cool the cars down. They can make it their way back into the pits, cool down while we get some other cars out of the way.
All right, the winner of that battle has to face off Brandon with his Mark III Supra, taking a recent loss in the winner's bracket, getting knocked out by Taylor Hull, who now has Hayden with that 2-throttle body VQ 350Z. I bet it's got a plenum spacer on it, you know? All right, our next driver's up on the line. Parson taking that lead position with that S13 hatch, going up against Drew Smith with that Fox body. This is the top 4 in the defeated bracket, or dubbed the lovers bracket.
Mid-Pond is for lovers. You don't
right,
have
Parson.
to be lonely at Mid-Pond. I don't know. I lost it. I ain't
It's a
got
work
it.
in progress.
Yeah, we're working on it.
All right, Parson, I was letting you go. I need a feature on my album, my country album.
I'll sponsor you.
Parson, here we go, jumping in. Got to keep the tires on as he makes an error going in the exiting stage left. Drew Smith avoiding contact with his Fox body. Parson having trouble keeping the rubber on the road. An unfortunate turn of events for Parson, but he is going to drive the rest of the lap out. Drew Smith and his Mustang having a little fun to finish off the lap.
It's so hard to not talk about your homies, but man, Kashad, that is not like you. This round, for whatever reason, he has really been struggling. He's looked great in practice, but for some reason here in comp mode, just something's not signing up.
It looks like he got a little bit of a waiver there. I don't know if the car lost power or if it was driver input. Either way, he exited stage left, and that's not what the judges want to see, especially in that lead position. Drew showing the patience, keeping himself poised, finishing off his lap. Honestly, having a good time out here at Mid-Pond Raceway.
Oh, yeah. If there's one thing that's going to happen, Kashad Parson is going to have a good time.
All right, here we go. Second half of the battle here. Smith the lead, Parson the chase. Smith piloting that Fox body Mustang, Parson in the S13 hatch. Both drivers initiating into outside zone 1. Smith getting the rear axle of that Mustang where it needs to be into outside 2. Parson shortly behind him doing a great job in his chase position now. hopefully not a little too late. He's got to make a mistake out of Smith in his fox body. He's got to keep that pressure on as Parson's cranking the angle through outside 3, and a little too much sauce going in outside 4. It looks like that car is really fighting him today as Smith is going to finish up his lap. Smith getting a little weird and wild off towards the end of his lap as well, but gets across the finish line and survives. Like you said, drifting can happen to anybody at any given time. Almost a couple mistakes from both drivers. Smith in his lead, but he looks like he's going to survive the lap. But Parson, unfortunately, just making far too many mistakes to probably pull a victory out of here. But I'm not a judge. We're going to have to leave it up to the judges for our final verdict.
Yeah. Fortunately and unfortunately, it is not up to us because this is a definite difficult decision for the judges. I mean, obviously, with Kashad going off in his lead run, not looking good for him. Completely off, it's a 0 for him. Not easy to have to make that decision is more so what I'm saying. Because Kashad's a great driver. He's a fantastic contender in this series, and so we do hate to see him go under circumstances like this. Because we know what he's capable of. We know what you could do, Kashad. We see you.
That's an unfortunate turn of events, but with any competition, there is winners and losers. Unfortunately, already sitting down in our defeated bracket. This is the last lives, and it looks like we have a verdict. Drew Smith with his Fox Body Mustang advances.
The king of spring break advances. Andrew Smith is kind of a local legend here, even though he is from Tupelo, Mississippi. This is his home track, so it is fantastic to see him. Kind of showed up last round just on a whim, said, you know what, to hell with it, let's try it, let's just see what can happen, and he has really shown up and shown out and has done a fantastic job of showing what he's capable of.
It looks like it's paying off for him. He's now sitting in a bracket going up against Cardoso, who just had a loss in our winner's bracket against Hayden with that 2 throttle body VQ 350Z. I'm telling you, it's the secret's 2 throttle bodies.
The secret sauce. Well, Hayden's going to have to go up against Taylor Hull, which I am sure is going to be an interesting battle. The VQ against what a car that makes over, God, I don't even want to know how much, 800 horsepower or something? Along this. Ernie will have to correct me on how much power Taylor's making, but I want to say it's in the 800s.
Taylor definitely piloting a weapon out here, our #1 qualifier. Look at the ducks. Look at that. Sorry, I got distracted. The ducks are so cute. They're just hanging out. Like, that's across the pond. They are on the inside of outside 3, just hanging out and watching. I don't know, man. Ducks are neat. All right, here we go. Right back to it. Taylor Hull, our #1 qualifier, has to go up against Hayden, our 7th qualifier, into those final spots of our winner's bracket, where our defeated bracket, lover's bracket, if you will, is getting filled up as each loss of our top winner's bracket is going underway. This is a double elimination format. We have Brandon holding on, waiting for our next verdict, as well as Cardoso and Smith. Get a refresh going down. Make sure you refresh your live bracket. That live link is available pinned to the top of the live stream chat, as well as check out the Race Data Labs link. You can get the same telemetry. Look, I'm going to do it again. Let's see JP's 50-mile-an-hour max speed 3D replay. Just click a link, easy internet. It give a load up, all right? Don't mind my internet, all right? I'm using my phone, all right? Take it easy, all right? Jesus,
easy, Turbo, easy. You're going a little too fast for me.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, there you go.
There we go. Look, I mean, now I can see exactly what lap he got 50 miles an hour on.
Look at that.
That's pretty neat.
Now, who has the fastest lap thus far?
Well, so race data, we got the average speed and we got max speed. The max speed, JP's got a 50.3, but the highest average speed for the entire lap is Cardoso.
Really? I say that like really. I'm not actually surprised by that.
Kid's
got a lead foot, that is absolutely for sure, and he's got the car to back it.
1 mile an hour behind him is Drew Smith with a 35-mile-an-hour average speed all the way through.
I would also believe that as well.
JP's right behind him with 35. Looks like Taylor Hull's down there with 34.9 with Andrew Grindle, which is a crazy thing to say, is both of those machines are absolute weapons. But that average speed over the entire lap, you got Cardoso and Smith and JP putting in heart. So it just goes to show that not only the top machines are out here throwing down, it's a driver's game. Come down, sign up, round 5, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series.
Well, and I have a feeling we're going to see some pretty significant changes in our point standings. I'm going to put the link here in chat for you if you're following along at home. These are our current standings as of round 3. Of course, we'll update this once we have our standings for round 4. But I'm interested to see what happens with these top 10 slots. We'll see probably some changes within the last couple of slots as well. We've had a couple drivers who did not show for this event, but I do anticipate top 10 is going to shake up a little bit.
All right, here we go. Lights are illuminated, waiting for them to extinguish. Grindle and Johnstone. That one more time battle. Andrew taking that lead position. Trevor trying to chase it down. Andrew doing a good job through outside zone number 1. Getting that S14 to outside 2. Trevor a little bit of a bobble there, trying to close it back up as they work their way into outside 3. Andrew doing a good job keeping that S14 all the way through outside 3 as Trevor starting to close the gap up as they dive into outside 4. That Mustang being a little patient behind the S14 through outside 4 as Andrew's going to drive up to outside 5. Doing a good job checking off that box, getting into that touch and go and curling back into that front inside clip, but Trevor's Mustang shortly behind the S14.9.
Trevor surged in there just in time.
Yeah, Andrew doing a fantastic job giving the real estate for Trevor to play with. Trevor trying to close it up.
I'd like to see a little bit more proximity from Trevor because we know that he is capable of doing it, but still a fantastic run by him and, of course, by Grindle.
Well, just going over those average speed, Grindle is high up there with that 34-mile-an-hour average speed, so Johnstone really having to work for it, keeping that vehicle speed up and high because Andrew's machine is definitely capable of closing that gap very quickly, and we'll have to see how he does that in the chase position right now as Trevor now takes the lead.
I believe Grindle's last dyno was around 790, something like that, maybe into the 800s.
Sounds slow.
He's making, yeah, it's weak.
It sounds
he ain't
real
making
slow.
power. What's that?
All right, Trevor taking that lead position, really lighting off, making Andrew work for it as both drivers work their way into outside zone number 2. Trevor doing a good job getting that Mustang nice and deep. Grindle getting a bit stabby there, getting aggressive on the backside as the Mustang cranks the angle. A little bit of correction out of Trevor and his Mustang getting through outside 3, dumps into outside 4 as Andrew's starting to make his presence known. Andrew needs to keep his composure, stay poised right behind that Mustang, not make any too big of mistakes as Trevor navigating that S550 to that touch and go and curling back to that front inside clip. And it looks like Grindle's going to hold that machine back and that monster over the finish line. All right, Trevor taking that lead position. You're watching that replay on the live stream at home. Throw your predictions into chat. Trevor in that S550 Mustang or Andrew Grindle are going to take him out. Look at him getting aggressive through outside 2 and a much tighter line in that S14. And then Trevor tries to return the favor back through outside 3 as both drivers dip themselves into outside 4. The Mustang doing a good job, big crank angle. Grindle had to stay a little patient, maybe a little too tight on the transition. We'll have to see how our judges are going to weigh this entire battle, not just this lap between Trevor and Andrew. Both those gentlemen sitting there underneath this Klutch Kickers tent, waiting for the verdict here. Already seeing one more time battle. Both these drivers sitting in our defeated bracket. The winner taking on Brandon in that Mark III Supra. Street drove it here. I'm gonna hype him up all day. You know.
I know.
I watched it come through the gate. Like that's a cool notion. Watch the car, just drive in and be like, all right, I'm here. What's up? I'm ready to party.
I think his wife followed in with the truck to bring his tires and fuel.
Vibes, dude.
Yeah, his wife is his pit crew as well, crew
Vibes. Chief. Yep. Shout out to my girlfriend. Thanks for hauling my stuff around so I can street drive my car like an idiot.
What would you
All right, it looks like we got a winner here, and it looks like Andrew Grindle going to get the win. Andrew Grindle gets the win. Unfortunately, knocking out Trevor Johnstone out of competition in our defeated bracket, but Andrew's going to go on to see battle against Brandon in that street car, Mark III Supra. If you're watching that live bracket at home, the link is on top of the chat, pinned on. Hit that refresh button. You can see our live bracket get updated in real time. As you can see, we are kind of just blowing through the rest of the comp today. So if you were taking a look at our schedule here. Oh, look at the ducks. We finally got the ducks. We don't care about the schedule. Look at the ducks. Look at those majestic creatures. Here at Klutch Kickers, this is round 4, $100,000 Drift Series. These guys are just hanging out watching. They're literally right on inside. They're probably like 4 or 5 feet. I believe they're trying to make a pass here. We're going to have to corral them back into the pond.
Oh.
Hey, fellas, I'm sorry. I'll stop embarrassing you. Come home.
We're sending the Aussie out to wrangle. Good job, Tony. You're doing great, Tony.
Look at him go.
That's a beautiful Australian Shepherd there.
Tony doing a fantastic job. A big shout to Race Data Labs, the Wally system. Keeping them nice and safe. What are you guys doing? You're reckless.
They have no fear.
Beautiful.
No fear at all.
Beautiful. Tony, grab me one. I'm trying to pet one. Nice, nice. Safe and sound. Ducks are back in the pond. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tony. Big shout to Tony, the duck wrangler.
Tony from Race Data Labs doing the Lord's work.
All right, the ducks are safe. They're back in the pond. We're ready to get this thing back on the show. Cardoso going up against Drew Smith. Got it in that 350Z, LS underneath the hood. Definitely a weapon sitting in that defeated bracket. His opponent, Drew Smith, in that Fox body, also sitting down in the defeated bracket. They got one life left. One more loss, and they're going home, packing up the trailer, or partying all night, 50-50. And here we go. Our drivers are locked in. Cardoso in that lead position. Smith to chase. Good looking Fox body.
It is beautiful. A couple dents and dings from some nice.
That's character,
good, Exactly.
That's how you know it's real and not AI. All right, Cardoso in that lead spot. That LS-powered 350Z shoots out from underneath that Klutch Kickers 10. Smith to chase him down in the Fox body. Smith getting aggressive. Cardoso pulling away from outside one. A weird line going to outside two. Starts to clean it up now, but Drew's patience is going to show off as both drivers dump into outside three. Drew makes his move now, going into to conclude outside three. Both drivers transition to outside four. Cardoso doing a good job doing what their judges want to see through outside four. He needs to keep that energy all the way up to outside five. Drew trying to close that gap back up as both drivers go through that touch and go and curl back into that front inside clip. Drew almost running out of real estate as Cardoso is trying to close the door across the finish line. Let's run it back on the replay on the live stream. Throw me some emojis. Let me know who you think is going to take this battle. We only seen half of it so far, but Cardoso and his 350Z taking a weird line, getting into outside two, but starts to clean it up now, really dialing himself into outside three as Drew Smith's Fox body Mustang right behind him, starting to bark back, matching the angle and the transition going into outside four. Cardoso doing a good job keeping that energy high through outside four and shoots all the way back out to outside five, maybe shy off the box, but Drew Smith right there on the backside. You can see right here, Cardoso tries to shut the door off of him across the finish line. Almost taking the nose off.
Yeah, these two may be friends, but when it comes to competition, all bets are off.
The duck's looking at me weird. He's eyeing me up. I don't think he liked being corralled back. He was like, no, I'm trying to go for a walk. All right, so we got Drew back up on the line, taking the lead. Cardoso to chase. If you guys are just joining us here, we're on the bottom side of our brackets, both defeated and our winners bracket here at round 4 of Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. We would love to see you guys here next time, live and in person, and even driving. Get signed up for round 5. Hit that Klutch Kickers Instagram, link in the bio. Sign yourself up for round 5, as well as all the links to the telemetry and our live brackets. Hit the live stream. We got it in the chat. It's pinned. Get your live bracket, hit the refresh, because we got another battle going down. We're going to find out another verdict, who's going to survive the weekend, as Drew Smith goes in the outside 1 and 2, and Cardoso putting the energy hard, getting into the side of that Mustang immediately through outside 1 and 2. Drew Smith doing a good job keeping the rear axle of that Mustang in outside 3, but Cardoso cannot be shaken, jumps and makes his move. A ton of aggression through outside 4, right to the side of that Mustang. Drew's definitely hearing that LS scream in the side. Cardoso spit a flame, avoiding outside 5, a big angle crank, and Cardoso takes a massive correction through that front inside clip. Don't know if the car shut off, but the aggression through outside 4 definitely gives him his flowers. You guys on the replay, let's run it back. Drew Smith in that Fox body Mustang doing a good job through outside 1 and 2, giving the real estate for Cardoso to bark into as both drivers transition out of 2 into 3. Cardoso makes a sacrifice, as our judges said here, trying to get to the side of that Mustang, and he takes that sacrifice here and makes his aggressive move, gets to the side of the Mustang, really making his presence known. Drew has to really navigate out of that 4 to 5. Cardoso maybe bit off a little too much than he can chew, trying to salvage the run. I think that might be one tire off in the front from Cardoso in the chase position. We'll have to lean on our judges for our final verdict. Thank you for not having to do that, because now I'm over here just spitballing about it. I just have to yap. They have to do math. I don't want to do the math.
Math is hard. Can't do it. All right, just keeping an eye on this. Race data, labs data, seeing if we got any updates here. Also looking for some decisions from our judges here. We've got Will, Pat, and Zach in the judges booth deliberating. They're watching that race data, labs data. I can see, I seen it on their computer. Watching the replays now as well. Little combination of both.
Is this Parsons in the chat? Parson, are you in the chat, brother?
Oh yeah, he's been in there.
Dude, you're right here. Just come chit chat. Talk to you right now. You don't have to talk to me right here, dude. Come on. Oh, never mind. I don't want to take away from your swagger right now. Go ahead. Finish what you're doing. As you were. Parson's still having a good time out here in the pits, regardless of the weekend. Everybody out here having a fantastic time. The camaraderie. Big shout to Frank. Throwing around both cars, beverages, everything. Good soul. Still waiting on our verdict here, but it looks like we're going to take a winner, and it looks like Cardoso going to get the win. Cardoso gets the win.
Oh, somebody tell Drew he's not supposed to go first. What are you doing, Drew?
All right. Unfortunate turn of events for Drew and his Fox Body Mustang. Let's hit that refresh on that live bracket. The links on the pin to the top of that stream. But Cardoso is going to get himself into those final brackets of what's been dubbed the Lovers Bracket. Up next, Brandon in the streetcar, Mark III Supra. Going up against Andrew. Grindle's going to drive that home, I think.
Drive the pro car home?
Yep. If you lose, you got to drive it home, dude.
Oh, you know what? We may as well call it. It's definitely, at this point, pretty much a pro car.
It is a pro-level chassis. It's got some pedigree.
I'll take it.
Grindle definitely navigating it, learning it, progressing. Everybody out here making large progressive steps forward. Love seeing the progression of all the drivers through the entirety of the weekend, both Friday practice and today. But right now, we got Andrew Grindle taking that lead position, going up against Brandon. Passing that Mark III Supra. I'm going to say it again. Street drove it through the gate. Got to give him his flowers, man. That's so cool. Love to see that energy here. Grindle with a weapon of a machine. Let's see what he can do in the lead position. Andrew shoots out to outside zone number 1. Brandon trying to close that gap up, taking some sacrifices into outside 2. Going to use that trajectory of that turn to try to close that gap going into outside 3. Andrew doing a good job keeping the rear axle at S14.9. We're exactly where it needs to go. But Brandon is shortly behind him, jumping through the smoke, making his move now. Jumping to the side of the S14. Get back on the throttle. Get back in it as Grindle drives back to 4, up to 5. Grindle's doing a good job, but Brandon's not out of the sauce now, avoiding that touch and go to try to take that front inside clip proximity. We'll see how those sacrifices work out for him.
Sorry, I'm not trying to punch you here.
It's all right, I'll fist fight you. I ain't scared.
The final battle of the day is you and me.
All right, in the pond.
Fist fight.
Yep. We're going to take paddle boats out, bumper boats. First one to sink loses.
All right, so you get the red one.
Oh, no, I already poked a hole in it, you know? It was taking on water. I got my pants wet. All right, Grindle's now flipped back around. He's going to take that chase position. Brandon. Mark III Supra. Taking that lead. Solid chase, making the sacrifices, trying to keep himself in the realm. But Grindle now has to hold that monster back between whatever Brandon throws at him. So Brandon, with a responsibility, has to go through our judges' checklist. Speed, everything, going to be in a factor here. Now let's see how these gentlemen fight it out. Round 4, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 drift series. Both drivers dump into outside zone number 2. Brandon doing a good job. Grindle really getting into the pressure there. I got to leave room for that transition. Almost making contact with that Mark III Supra with Grindle's Quest 14.9. Both drivers navigating through the outside zone number 3. Dumps into outside 4. Grindle matching the aggression through 4. Both drivers locked and loaded going into outside 5. Brandon pulls away just slightly as the S14 of Grindle starts to make his move back into that touch and go. A little rub in there and across that front inside clip and then the finish line. Definitely a battle out here at round 4. Klutch Kickers $100,000 drift series. A big shout out to Brandon and Andrew. We're going to have to go through our judges for our final verdict.
Yeah, speaking of final verdict, the judges are kind of moving through pretty quickly here, so I am waiting on some final details on some of the decisions on the Drew and Cabot battle. I know there's some discussions going on in the chat. I know y'all have got questions here, so I'll have some details for you here in just a bit.
All right, it looks like guys on the replay, you can see Grindle getting to the side of that Mark II Super. Just a light touch, a love tap, if you will, across the finish line. Really showcasing that aggression through that touch and go, waiting for that Mark III Super to light off into that front inside clip. The layout here at round 4 is definitely technical. If you haven't driven it, you really can't speak on it. Outside 1 to 2, even the dive in each transition of the zone, and that last outside zone to touch and go to that front inside clip is definitely kind of technical, and you have to be patient. But it looks like Andrew Grindle's patience is going to pay off as he advances and takes out Brandon in his Mark III Supra. Big shout to Bass in that Supra, throwing down out here, but unfortunately that hit his last life in the defeated bracket. And Grindle's going to move on, taking on the loser of our next bracket between our #1 qualifier, Taylor Hall, and our 7th qualifier, Hayden Catrell. You guys are following on the live stream at home. The link is at the top pinned. That's the live bracket. Just smack the refresh button. Keep up to date what's going on. We're getting down to our final battles here. We're going to find out who's standing on top of the podium here at round 4, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. All right, Taylor locking himself into that lead position. He's going to get chased down by Hayden in his 350Z. This is the last battle of the winner's bracket. The winner have to battle it out of the winner of the defeated bracket. Double elimination format here at round 4, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. Our #1 qualifier, Taylor Holt, leaving that Klutch Kickers tent, initiates. He gets into outside zone #1. Hayden with his 350Z, taking some sacrifices, trying to close that gap up, going to outside zone #2. Taylor putting the throttle back down, going through the rest of outside 3, as Hayden's 350Z is struggling to keep up with the power of that Corvette body. Hayden doing a good job through outside 4, but unfortunately Taylor just romping away from him, 7 all the way up to outside 5. Hayden doing a fantastic job, really starting to put the pressure on until that last touch and go outside zone to that front inside clip. Taylor definitely leaving the door open for Hayden to put the pressure back and close it up. We're going to have to see what happens now as Taylor has to jump into the chase position. Hayden now has the responsibility to lead. All Hayden has to do is go through the checklist here. Taylor doing a good job getting the car where it needs to go into our zone, going through outside zone 1, 2, and 3 with a lot of inertia, a lot of momentum. Hayden doing everything he can to get that twin throttle body VQ to do it all. He's snappy on that throttle, trying to keep that proximity out, but Taylor is just putting the throttle back down, a ton of power underneath that car, and just driving away from that 350Z, but a great show out of Hayden nonetheless.
Fantastic driving from both. I'm really proud of Hayden. It's so hard to not, when you're going up against somebody like Taylor Hole and you've got a stock VQ, that's just impressive, man. Super proud of you, Hayden.
Driver sacrifice, he's making the right inputs, he survived the lap, but now his responsibility is to go through our judges' checklist, and he's got to hold back the monstrosity of Taylor Hole's vehicle right behind him. And here we go, Hayden takes that lead position, initiates getting into outside zone #1. Dumps himself into outside 2, just tapping that rear tire into getting that 350Z, exactly where we need to go. A bit tap off the course. Taylor giving him a little space, a little grace. As both drivers work their way through outside 3. Hayden dumps into outside 4. Holds car right behind him. Target at the side of that 350Z. Both take the bump out of 4, driving into outside 5. Taylor right on the back bumper of that 350Z. Both drivers getting to that touch and go. Taylor a little tire line, waiting for that front inside clip as both drivers come across the finish line.
Little kiss there at the end.
You know, make him work for it. Not going to give it away. Hayden with a great drive in that lead position. 2 throttle bodies on that DQ. But is it enough to take down our #1 qualifier, Taylor Hull? A massive power gap between these 2 vehicles. Never mind the wheelbase, suspension, etc., etc. Both these drivers are throwing down. Hayden's been here all weekend long. Taylor getting his licks in, qualifying number 1. But Hayden doing a good job getting through the checklist. We're going to have to see what our judges have to say for our final verdict. Taylor piloting that car right to our closest. Corvette chassis underneath. And it looks like we have a win. Taylor Hull is going to get the win, taking out Hayden. That is Hayden's first loss. So he's going to dump down into the defeated bracket, the lovers bracket.
Against Cabot Cardoso. It's going to be the winner against the Grindle versus Cabot Cardoso battle, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. And Taylor's patiently going to wait for the winner of all the rest of the battles, where these guys are going to have a second opportunity to take down our number 1 qualifier.
All right, well, while we're getting some cool down time here for these cars, we'll hopefully get some additional feedback from the judges on the Drew Smith and Cabot Cardoso battle. I know there's been several questions in the chat about why the judges made the decisions. Obviously, you do have the data in Race Data Labs that you can look at to kind of see.
Yeah, go look at it.
Some of the different things that they were looking at in terms of line angle and speed. There may have been a decel that they were looking at specifically. There may have been somebody may have straightened up a little bit in a certain area. Of course, you can always scrub through the live stream as well, but I'm going to try to get you some specific details from the judges themselves so I can get you. I'm looking at you, Zach.
All right, so we have a few battles left. Grindle, Cardoso. We got Hayden just falling into that defeated bracket. It's double elimination format, giving a second chance to these drivers. Taylor, now our number 1 qualifier, waiting patiently for the verdict of those battles to see who's going to fight them off for the top of the podium box. Podium's going to be in the pond.
Podium in the pond.
You got to hang out with the Ducks.
Based on who I'm seeing here, I think you've got some good contenders for people who would actually get in the pond.
Oh, they're all getting in the pond.
You're gonna have to sweet talk Taylor though. I have a
Taylor, you're getting in the pond. Ernie, we're throwing him in the pond. He's sweaty at this point. He needs a bath.
Oh.
All right, so we got a few drivers left. Grindle, Cardoso, Catrell, all waiting patiently. If you guys are wondering how, where, live bracket, it's right on top of the chat, you know, like top right of your screen. Oh, sorry, top right of your screen, like right around there. Yeah, hit that link right there in your chat. Yeah. Oh, actually, I guess it's more that way. Yeah,
there
right
you
there.
Go. There
right
you
there.
go.
Hit that link, live bracket, hit the refresh button, get up to date. Also, check out all the telemetry from Race Data Labs if you haven't already. I don't want to see you in the chat making decisions if you haven't done your homework. You know, you got to go look at all of it, all right? Just like our judges. They look at all of it, they use it as a tool, and they make a decision. I'm glad I don't have to, you know. But here we are. I get the yap for y'all. Pleasure being here. Thank you guys for having me in round 4.
You're doing a fantastic job of yapping, by the way.
Thank you. I'm a good yapper.
You are a good yapper. You're a fan. I think of all the battles of yappers, you are the best yapper of all.
Oh, thank you.
You want to have a yap battle?
I'll have a yap battle. I can yap at you. I'm ready to yap. All right. Looks like our 2 drivers in our defeated bracket are ready and warming up their tires. Grindle, monster of a machine, going up against Cardoso, who's definitely no slack either. That LS Power 350Z. Both drivers back there warming up the tires. Kind of impressive where they're warming up the tires, too. This track is not that wide. It definitely is technical. It's demanding. The edges of the track definitely demand a confident drive, and if you find it too far, that's it. Run's almost over. 2 tires off that's a 0. 1 is a major deduction. We have a ton of tools, drone, telemetry to check. We're watching y'all. You know, we're watching. Speaking of, I love to watch y'all compete in round 5. Get signed up. Go to Klutch Kickers Instagram. Never mind for updates, fun content, etc., etc. But hit that bio. Hit the link. Get signed up. Round 5.
Money is there for the taking. That is for sure.
Never mind. It's a good time. There's ducks, dude.
There's
I haven't been anywhere else where they just got
We're
ducks.
not here for the money. We're not here for the cars. We're here
came
for
the
ducks.
100%. I came for the ducks. Maybe Curtis, but I came for the ducks. All right, here we go. Grindle in the lead position. Cardoso in the chase. Big shout to the ducks. All right, here we go. 2 weapons of machine. Cardoso taking a little bit of a strategy dip there, making sure that he's on point to chase down Grindle's weapon as both drivers themselves in outside 1. Cardoso getting some love taps going into outside 2. Both drivers need to curl it back in. Cardoso taking a tighter line, giving some space for that transition as both drivers work their way to outside 3. Cardoso follows back into the pocket as Andrew rotates back around for outside 4. Cardoso starting to put some pressure on as both drivers exit forward, drive up to outside 5. Grindle doing a good job getting that rear out. Cardoso making a sacrifice there to get out to that touch and go. But look at the proximity across that front inside clip and a finish line. Cardoso even ending into the grass past the finish line, so he's good. But what an aggressive lap. definitely making some sacrifices to make sure that he was where he needed to be. We'll have to see where the judges weigh that out. But nonetheless, Grindle going through the checklist that our judges want to see. You see he gets to outside 1, outside 2, rotates back into outside 3. Cardoso here starting to close the gap up and knows the aggression, and he has the room to work through that transition to outside 4. Grindle giving him all the real estate to play with. Cardoso lighting off that LS, trying to make a sacrifice here, avoids outside 5, jumps right back to that touch and go, and then really just drives it home across that front inside clip, and then into the grass.
Yeah, you got to do a little landscaping every once in a while.
We'll send you the bill.
Props to whoever wired up that tail light on Grindle's car, because it was hanging on for dear life. It did a fantastic job of staying on.
Butt connectors, you know? That's why you don't solder stuff.
Yeah, butt connectors are where it's at, man.
Okay, so here we go. Second half of the battle. Cardoso taking that lead position. Grindle the chase. Cardoso jumps into outside zone number 1. Retrajectories himself to outside zone number 2. Grindle shortly behind him, matching that angle. There's a little space and grace for that transition as he works away to outside 3. Grindle giving him a little love tap as Cardoso rotates back out to outside 4. Grindle keeping that aggression high, right back to the side of that 350Z. Both drivers working way out of that 4, getting into 5. Cardoso a bit shy off of 5, but gets to that touch and go, curls back into that front inside clip, and Grindle is right there in the back axle of that 350Z.
Woo.
These boys are fighting for it. That fist fight towards the end. These guys both making sacrifices to our outside 5. Let's go back to that replay. You can see Cardoso getting through outside 1, getting through outside 2. Grindle right there, though, matching, falling into that pocket, waiting for that patience to jump into outside 3. Cardoso gets into that zone early, tries to hold that 350 as long as he can, and rotates into outside 4. Grindle jumps right to the side. A little bit of a waiver there to make sure he didn't make contact, but he's right on the back bumper, and I'm sure that car was feeling those backfires from Cardoso's LS 350Z. But both cars finish over the finish line, survive, and we'll have to wait for our judges' final verdict for a winner. This is for that final spot going up against Hayden's 350Z in the defeated bracket, dubbed the Lovers Bracket. Maybe that's the album name for me, the Lovers Bracket.
The Lovers Bracket?
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, make sure you guys keep an eye out for that
Grindle
album.
gets the win.
Good job for Andrew. Andrew Grindle gets the win, working his way into that final spot of that defeated bracket. Unfortunately, Cardoso, that's his second life in this double elimination weekend, taking him out. Grindle a little showboat on the way out. He knows he's got to take out Hayden, though. He's got 2 throttle bodies, and he's worked his way all the way through the winner's bracket, getting taken out by our number 1 qualifier, Taylor Hull, who's patiently waiting for the winner of our 27th battle.
Well, while we've got some time while we're waiting for our next battle, I did finally get some word back from the judges on the battle against Andrew Smith and Cabot Cardoso. It's been a couple battles now, so refresh the brains here a little bit. The battle was obviously very close. The leads were almost the same based on the Wally data. But the chase on the Wally data was slightly better on Cab's end. So they ended up using the Wally data to verify their decision. They did put the almost straighten Cab did coming out of the outer 4 on Drew's lead mistake. So there were some mistakes on both sides for sure, but ultimately Cab's run ended up being better in terms of the data that we were able to collect on Wally. So as you've been pitching this entire time, which thank you for plugging Race Data Labs.
Oh, thank Race Data Labs for showing out. Big shout to Klutch Kickers and Mid-Pond for having them out. I think it is a fantastic tool. It's cool to see the telemetry. It's cool to see the data. Maybe I'm a bit of a nerd, but I'm enjoying the process. It made qualifying a breeze.
Oh, it was so fast. Like, we could barely get through. It was just,
I barely got to breathe. It was quite the speed. It was cool to see. Big shout to Tony and the entire team for having out here. Big shout to everybody. Look at that. You can see our last battle, Cardoso and Smith working it through. Look at all that. That's a crazy amount of data.
So I believe, yeah, this is the chase battle that we were referring to earlier.
Now you can see the telemetry data from the lines from the axle. The tires, both tires obviously have different color lines, and you can see that overlay where both drivers have to mimic that line through. You can see the difference point between the 2 colors of the chassis going through their lap here. You can see all the telemetry data, the average speed, the acceleration in meters per second. You can also see the rate to angle and the angle in degrees from each driver at the entire time. You yourself at home can go into Race Data Labs, get on the server while they still got it up, a few days before their next eventscape, and you can check out all of this data yourself. You can skim all those black boxes on the bottom or each one of our judge zones. Make sure you guys Go check it out. Support Race Data Labs, support Klutch Kickers, support Mid-Pond. They've been pulling out all the tools here. They brought a fantastic pool of drivers. A big shout to all the drivers that are still fist fighting themselves out through the battles. And of course, everyone that took a loss here today, thank you guys for coming out and competing. You definitely didn't go out without swinging.
No, absolutely not. And I just shared that link again to the Race Data Labs data so that you can take a look at that here. Again, data is going to be available to you here for quite some time, at least until the next event.
Yeah,
excuse me, the Race Data Labs next event. So you've got some time to look at the Klutch Kickers round 4, both the single run data. We actually have some practice run data from yesterday as well, Friday and Saturday. So if you want to just see how we were kind of dialing some things in, we did make some adjustments to the track layout based on the data that we got from Friday. So that was very helpful for us in being able to kind of figure out what was working, what wasn't. Should we kind of keep the touch and go where it was? Should we keep the clipping point where it was? Ultimately, we made a couple of minor adjustments, but it did end up being where we kept the clipping points and touch and go where they are now.
All of our battle brackets are available. All of our battle telemetry is available through that Wally system. So go check it out while it's there. Go look at the runs. Nerd out on the data with me. It is super cool to see. It is super cool for all our drivers that are here involved in the series to go back and figure out, to find these extra points. Honestly, it's as good as you use it as anything.
Yeah.
All right, right back into it. We got number 1 qualifier, Taylor Hall, patiently waiting for our final battle verdict. If you guys haven't already, there it is. Yeah, right there. Click that link.
You're getting
live
acclimated.
bracket.
You're getting acclimated.
Yeah. Hit that refresh button, and then there you go. You got your battle bracket. We got Grindle first, Hayden, Catrell in that 2 throttle bodies, VQ, 350Z, going up against Grindle's massive of a weapon, S14.9. Patiently waited for Taylor Hall on the backside to see who's going to try to take him out, and then who's going to stand in the podium or the pond.
Oh.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the podium in the pond. I don't care if I got to push him there. I'm getting the podium in the pond.
You on your own there.
I
do not want that juju.
Everybody's getting in the pond. We got big ass fish, big fish in there, you know. All right, thank you guys for all joining us here on the live stream and in real life. I appreciate you all for hanging out with us. This is definitely a fun time down here at Mid-Pond at Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. I hope to see the rest of you at round 5. Get signed up, driver registration. Hit the link in the social media. Get to the Instagram, link in the bio. Get signed up. Driver, what are you waiting for? It's a good time. And you can get home with a big check. It's worth it. Risk
I like
it.
big checks, and I cannot lie.
See? See? All right, look, chat. Apparently Dustin will help me get everybody in the pond. All right.
I have no doubts that he could convince everybody without force, even though he's already forced Camel in there.
See, this guy gets it. Waist-deep podium pictures. See? The chat understands. I can always rely on the chat. See? Look, Robert, yep.
Y'all do come in clutch.
Yep. I appreciate y'all. I see you in there. I'm paying attention. All right? I'm watching it. There's a lot to watch here. It's telemetry. There's y'all in the chat. These fine people sitting next to me.
There was some drama in the chat there for a while, man. Camel had to come in, defend his honor. Oof. Got a little spicy there for a bit.
He's in the chat and real life, you know?
Oh.
He's like lounged up over there in the pits.
He's getting the princess treatment.
Yeah. As he should.
Exactly.
As he should. All right, here we go. We're jumping into our next battle. Like I said, jump in that live link, get on that battle bracket, get a refresh done, see where we're at. We're in the final battles here, round 4, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. But up next, Hayden, 350Z, gunner take out Andrew, and his S14.9.
Hayden's wife, Rebecca, nervously waiting at home. She's been cheering him on. Got their baby at home with them. I say baby, he's, almost 2 now at this point.
That's
their
a child.
I got their 2-year-old son, keeping him at home, safe.
Well, Hayden, they're rooting for you. Let's see if you can throw it down. You got to chase first. I believe Hayden prefers to chase first. I think I overheard that in some conversation. Don't let me speak on his behalf.
No.
But either way, he's got to chase first. Grindle's got to lead. Andrew's got to put down the judge's checklist. Hayden's got to mimic everything that S14's doing. Let's see how it's going to hash out now. The final battles here, round 4, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. The lights are illuminated. Waiting for the extinguish. The suspense And here we go, Andrew Grindle taking that lead position, blasting out of 10. Hayden trying to suck him down, going into outside 1 and 2. Andrew doing a good job getting through outside zone number 1 and 2 as Hayden's starting to close that gap now, using that turns radius to his advantage to set himself up for outside 3 to get that 350Z back in the pocket of that S14. Grindle cranking the angle on, giving almost too much as Hayden had nowhere to go as Grindle is going to work his way through outside 5 up to that touch go and spin back to that front inside clip. Looking forward to watching the replay on this one. Andrew Grindle's lead lap. Hayden taking some sacrifices, using that turns and decreasing radius to his advantage to clean up our outside zone number 3. Let's see if it was just a little too much sauce or if Grindle may have choked him up. Both drivers work their way through outside 1 and 2. Grindle doing a good job, rotated to outside 3. Hayden makes his move here as Grindle starts to crank the angle on. A lot of rotation out of Grindle. I'm not a judge, but I wouldn't want to be one as Hayden gets hung up going into outside 4. Grindle's going to finish off his lap through outside 5 and rotate up to that touch and go into that front inside clip.
That is a massive horsepower gap. I do have confirmation that I believe Grindle's making about 796 horsepower was his last dyno that I have access to. No, I'm not going to say 800. I'm not going to give him that credit. Until I see a dyno sheet, 796 wheel horsepower is what he's getting. So
I heard Hayden makes 1,100.
Ooh, and a VQ.
Two throttle bodies. You got to do 500
I think Dustin may have loaned him every single bottle of nitrous outlet that he's got.
All right, let's see how it goes. Grindle now on the chase. Catrell, he'll take the lead. Hayden in his 350Z, slightly avoiding outside 1. Almost trying to run Andrew out of the front side of the track as both drivers navigate through outside 1 and 2. Hayden's got to get that 350Z into the boxes that our judges want to see as he works his way through outside zone number 3, avoiding outside 3, but keeping it nice and tight on Andrew. Andrew showcasing a lot of patience, a lot of throttle, holding back that monster behind that 350Z as Hayden, as both drivers dip out of 4, get into outside 5. Hayden shoves up to that touch and go and going to curl back into that front inside clip, where Grindle's shortly behind him across the finish line. Honestly, this can go either way. I'm curious to see where our judges and our telemetry data is going to point as we have Hayden taking his lead lap on the replay right now, getting chased down by Andrew's S14.9. Both drivers doing a fantastic job. Hayden avoiding 1 and 2. We really need to see Hayden put down a checklist lead lap here. He's avoiding outside 3, almost trying to run away from that S14.9. Grindle definitely having to work. Definitely a weird line choice, but Grindle starts to lock himself into the pocket here. Gives a little bit of space to allow the 350 to transfer up to the outside 5. Gets the touch and go, curls back to that front inside clip. Grindle keeping the aggression until the finish line, but we'll have to wait for our judges' final verdict here.
Well, and that's truly a sign of good driving, is not only how well can you do in a lead against a fast car and how well you can do in a chase against a fast car, but how well can you do in a chase against a slower car. Yep. And I think Grindle, again, watching, observing, very big horsepower difference here between these two cars. Hayden certainly capable of driving with Grindle, but seeing how Grindle's able to kind of hang back, watch, still stay on his doors, but being very respectful.
Yeah, there's a little bit of advantage going in with a high horsepower car, especially if you got that lead lap first. You can almost attribute all of your tire life to that lead lap to try to create the best possible lap you can, utilizing the heat of the tire or the grease of the tire, if you will, in a second lap to help control that monster behind a slower machine. But Hayden taking some sacrifices in both his lead and his chase to try to create the gaps, create his advantages, if you will. We'll have to see how our judges weigh that out as Grindle made a pretty cranky outside 3 to outside 4.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Hayden run his lead run just like he normally would, because I think that would have kind of thrown Andrew off his game a little bit, because he would have had to choke up so much of that power. So Hayden, still fantastic run by both drivers, but I would have loved to see Hayden fill those outer zones a little bit more to hopefully offset Andrew just a little bit. Yeah,
this is the levels of competitive drifting. You're going to both have your machine. You have yourself as a driver and your skill set, but also the mental notes and the strategy that goes with it to survive each and every battle that comes with a custom set of inputs and requirements that get a win out of that battle.
Exactly. But either way, we're going to see Hayden in our podium. Well, at some spectrum of our podium. He's going to be there in some proximity. We'll see how close.
Y'all explain this out. This double elimination format is fresh for me. I like seeing the second chance, the grace to our drivers to allow them to have a fantastic weekend filled with a great amount of battles. A big shout to each one of our drivers and their teams, the crew, as well as you guys sitting over here hanging out with me. Thank you. Look at the enthusiasm from this squad over here. Look at them all. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, you. All of y'all. You can stand up. You got a mic check over there? Any mics over there? No? All right. Just me. Sitting here all by myself. All right, waiting for our verdict of our final battle of the defeated bracket, the lovers bracket. Let's see what's going to go down in our judges' eyes. Oh, they're in a heated conversation over there. Look at them over there.
Do you smell an OMT, or do you think...
I think that's the brain juice is actually burning off.
Oh, God, am I having a stroke?
No, not yet. Hey, we haven't said already. Check out the ducks. Look at the ducks. They really just hang out all day here. They just watch. They got a good life. Good life for them.
You got to wonder what they've been through in their life to where this just doesn't fade them. Like, what type of war veterans are they?
Yeah, can I get a history update of the ducks? Were they born here? Are they adopted? Did they migrate here and just never leave?
So some of the ducks that we've had here in the past are actually hatchlings that Ken has raised himself. Now, I think these came from a farm, but I do not know that for sure.
Well, that's pretty cool either way. Still, no one has brought me a duck. Not any of you.
Yeah.
Someone get in the water and go get me a duck. Just want him to hang out right here, right on the table. I'll move this stuff. We don't need these.
What's the duck from FD? Oh my gosh, I completely forgot the duck's name.
The drift duck.
Yeah, the drift duck that travels around with a couple and.
Yep. I've touched that duck. I've pet that duck.
You pet that duck?
I pet that duck. Yeah, that duck.
I'm jealous you got to pet that duck.
Yep, I was hanging out with that duck. Maybe that's where my love and affection for these ducks come from.
Oh, there you go. You got touched by the duck.
Maybe that duck's from these ducks. Is that the mother duck?
Oh.
And it looks like we got a winner.
Oh,
and it looks like Andrew Grindle is going to get the win. Andrew Grindle is going to get the win. Taking out Hayden. A great drive from Hayden all weekend long. Fist fighting his way through almost the entirety of both the winners and the defeated bracket. His name showed up a numerous amount of times. A great drive from him. Nothing to be ashamed of, but unfortunately he's going to have to bow out, where Grindle is going to go up into our winners bracket to face off against Taylor Hull, our #1 qualifier, who's fought his way through our winners bracket, taking out a numerous amount of names, but he's got one more to work through. Grindle also has to defeat Taylor twice.
Yes, that is correct. So Taylor has not lost a battle yet. So not only does Grindle have to beat him once, he is going to have to beat him again if Taylor loses and has to go into his, quote, loser's battle. So
this is our 28th battle of round 4 of Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. Potentially, if Grindle can pull a win out of Taylor Hull, this will be our 29th. We'll conclude once again. Yep, right there.
There it is.
Hit that live bracket, hit the refresh button, get up to speed, see what's going on. Also check out that Race Data Labs. You can go back and check all the telemetry data for every run that has happened at this round, including practice qualifying. Check out your favorite driver. Just check out the data. Nerd out with me. Check them out. Show your love and appreciation. Also, a love and appreciation to Mid-Pond, their staff and team. Tara as well. Thank you for having me. And as well, Grip Roll too. Big shout to Scott.
We love you,
those
Scott.
boys.
Thank you, bud.
As well as Mid-Pond, Ken, big shout, as well as Curtis and the entire team here at Klutch Kickers, making this happen for all of our drivers. A great weekend. I'm having a great time.
Absolutely. Well, and if you're interested in having your own great weekend here at Mid-Pond, you can book your own private day. Just reach out to us at info@midpond.com. We'd love to have you here. We're already looking to start booking our 2026 season. Obviously, we're going to have to start making our schedule here for the next season of Klutch Kickers here, so we are going to have to start publishing that here soon. I've got some dates in the work. We're working with FD and a couple of other sanctioned events to make sure we're not overstepping. But otherwise, let us know. We would love to have you here for your own private event.
They're putting in the work to make it easy for you guys. Sign up, round 5, driver registration. Hit the Instagram, Klutch Kickers. Get in the bio. Sign yourself up. I'm serious.
Mike Perez, everybody. All the way from Virginia, just to be here with us, to give us some laughs.
I'm just having a great time.
Give me some anxiety.
That's fine. I was just going to flip the whole table. Yeah. But big shout. Thank you guys for having me here at Mid-Pond. Thank you, Klutch Kickers team, for having me out, letting me yap, letting me have a good time. Once again, got some drift laps, went off-roading, got to ride in a boat, seen plenty of ducks, some good driving out of drivers, got to hang out with some good people. Just like yourself, Tara.
Well, likewise, my friend. It's been great to meet you. I know we kind of almost crossed paths a couple times. I've obviously follow E-Town Gambler and have seen you do your commentary.
I've been a place or two.
You have been a place or two.
I have been a place or two. I've wandered around. I drive my my Toyota some places. You know, I like to find some adventure, experience the freedom, if you will. That's the American dream. You guys can come join us, please. Round 5.
Well, you got no window, so all you got to do is just feel the wind in your hair.
It's all in my hair. Look at that. Just blows right in the breeze. Right in the breeze. Thank you guys for joining us here at Round 4. Thank you for letting me yap at y'all. Thank you for joining us in the chat. I see y'all out there. Yep, right there. Yep. Well, you guys can't see it.
Do it.
Right
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Yeah, see? That guy gets it. Yeah. That guy was also one of the waist deep in the pond. See?
Yeah, I like this guy.
Good job, chat.
Hold on, it looks like he's got a 1J, so he's already cool in my book.
All right, seriously. Sign up. Round 5. Come hang out. Just spectate. Drive.
Yeah, let us talk crap about you.
Come drive an event.
Come on.
Support your local raceways. All of them. Also, give some shout to Mid-Pond. This expansion is massive. Like, that is literally massive. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, we are hoping to have some pavement and gravel here soon. I'm not going to give you an exact date because that would be unfair of me to put that pressure on Ken and the rest of the staff. But
they are working diligently to make it as fast as a process as possible.
We should have some pretty significant changes going into spring. So I'm really excited about that. I am excited to drive the track. I don't know how long it's going to be before we have the track itself. Primary goal is going to be to make sure that we have better parking for our drivers, for our spectators, so that we can get more drivers here. That has been one of our limiting factors here at Mid-Pond, is just the fact that right now we're a little throttled in how many drivers that we can have because of the space. This is going to completely change everything. There is no more limitations. We can bring semis of people here. Pull the whole gang up.
Round 5, we can still park your semi.
Oh, this is true. Round 5, there's still plenty of room.
Show up with a stacker. Bring your friends. All of you show up. I promise you, round 5 is going to be a party. You want to get signed up right now.
If my stacker can fit here, your stacker can fit here.
There's multiple stackers here. Guys were doing engine swaps in the parking lot.
Oh, God.
Where are you guys at?
That generator.
Where are you guys at home?
I can still hear that generator in my ears from last night. It was.
Hey, that was a diligent effort from Dustin and his friends and his team. I got to give him props. That's the energy of drifting. Frank for donating a car to Dustin after all of it. There's a good camaraderie here. There's a good passion of drifting here. A good passionate team, both in Mid-Pond and Klutch Kickers.
Yeah.
Support your local raceway. Support Mid-Pond.
Well,
support Klutch Kickers.
Something else I was going to mention too is let's see, who all was in the pits? So we had Frank that was out there helping, just moral support if nothing else. So Dustin was working on his car. Danny Morse was out there letting him use his lift.
Frank was handing out waters.
Were they waters?
Yeah, they were great waters. It was amazing water. Frank was phenomenal, handing out cars and waters like it was his job. Frank's a great guy.
Then you got JP, who was working on his car. Hannah, when she was during practice yesterday, ended up dropping her exhaust, so they had to do a little bit of welding last night.
Oh yeah,
so,
Paddock
was busy last night.
It was.
Trevor Johnstone was doing a couple little last-minute tweaks here and there as well.
Yep, you guys lingered through. Like the camaraderie here, that's a level of drifting that's not happening as much as often. And to have a raceway give this much investment and passion into the drivers, and especially drifting, bringing in the Wally system, bringing in Race Data Lab, Tony, flying them all the way from Australia, the equipment, everything to make something extra happen for you guys, the tools for our judges. You got to give them props. Got to give the flowers to Ken and team. Got to give flowers to you guys.
Yeah.
Good job.
Give us degenerates a loving home.
Hey, he's definitely putting on a party. Big shout to Ken.
Well, if the noise didn't give it away, then let us tell you, we've got our drivers out. Taylor Hull, Andrew Grindle getting ready for what may be their first battle, maybe their second battle. Who knows? We'll find out.
Oh, the chat said we need more ducks.
More ducks?
More ducks. All right, ducks, get busy. We need more ducks.
PG-13, but procreation of ducks is encouraged.
Are these ducks fixed?
How do you fix a duck?
I don't know. I'm not a vet.
I'm not going to Google that.
I'm not Googling it. I'm not messing with my algorithm. Can you imagine my For You page after that? All right, let's move on. All right, Taylor Hull, our number 1 qualifier, sitting in the top of the winner's bracket. Still has 2 lives left in that double elimination. Now he's got to take out Andrew Grindle for the win. But Grindle has to take Taylor Hull out twice to get a win himself. Both these drivers fought hard. Massive, crazy machines out here at round 4. Klutch Kickers, $100,000 drift series. Taylor Hull in that lead position. going to face off against Andrew Grindle in that chase. All right, the lights are illuminated. Judges are ready, waiting for the lights to extinguish. Taylor Hall taking that lead position first. Andrew Grindle jumps off the line, trying to close that proximity early. Taylor swings at the side of the S14. Grindle having to make a correction going through 1, gets back in the position for outside 2, starting to put the pressure on as Taylor works his way through outside 2, works his way into outside 3. Grindle's S14 just catching the back bumper of that Corvette chassis underneath that fiberglass wide body. Taylor doing a great job. Grindle putting the pressure on through outside 4. Both drivers drive up to outside 5. Taylor starting to drive away with a gap now as Grindle jumps into that inside clip and across the finish line.
That first initiation from Grindle may set him back, but that was still a beautiful battle from both drivers.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how our judges are going to weigh. I believe you only have a 1 motion and 2 motion. We'll have to clarify that rule with our judges. But nonetheless, Taylor Hull doing a fantastic job going through our judges' checklist. That back bumper just catching the front end of the S14. Grindle's trying to keep his aggression high going into outside 3. He has to take a small sacrifice to get himself into position for outside 4. A little bit of a left foot brake to get himself out of the way of the transition to allow Taylor to get out to outside 5, out to that touch and go. But he takes some sacrifice to really put the proximity on across that front inside clip. All right, we got our drivers flip back around. Taylor now to chase, Andrew to lead. Andrew in that S14.9. Going up against Taylor with essentially a Corvette in the dress. All right, here we go. Andrew taking that lead position now. Taylor right behind him. Andrew getting into outside zone number 1, keeping that trajectory into outside zone number 2. Taylor shortly behind him as both drivers work through that decreasing radius of outside 2 and transition to outside 3. Andrew really stepping through, putting that power down, almost putting the gap as Taylor makes an angle sacrifice to get back in the position for outside 4. Both drivers worked away for outside 4. Andrew starting to drive away from Hull's Corvette chassis as both drivers worked away to outside 5, dumping himself into the touch and go. And Taylor dives in hard for that last and final inside clip as Andrew throttles over the finish line. A solid final battle here, potentially final battle here. Grindle trying to put the pressure on the Taylor Hull's Corvette chassis. That S14.9 throwing down, keeping the throttle down, a little left foot to keep that car transitioning and braking through that decreasing radius turn of outside 2, getting himself poisoned to outside 3, where Taylor needs to make some sacrifices to get back into the pocket, getting himself outside 4. Andrew really started to put the power down now, making Taylor work for it, where Taylor jumps, takes a smaller line through outside 5 to really put the power out. Now he almost skips that touch and go to get into position for that front inside clip. We're going to see how these sacrifices from both drivers shake out in our judges' eyes. All right, patiently waiting to see if there's a verdict. Grindle needs to take Taylor Hull out twice. Taylor just needs to take that final life from Grindle away, already taking 1 loss, but fighting his way back out through what we have dubbed the lover's bracket. This double elimination format paying off for Andrew Grindle, getting back down here for Taylor Hull battle, but his work is cut out for him. We're going to have to see what the math shakes out to. If you guys are curious how the bracket shaked off, get yourself into that live stream. Right in the chat, top of it's pinned, that live bracket. Hit that refresh button. Also check out that Race Data Labs, that Wally system collecting telemetry for every run. Check out that lap. Check out every lap from the entire weekend, thanks to Race Data. Get it while the getting's good. Drivers, if you would like to keep your data, we suggest you record your data off of the server before their next eventscape, so you have it forever. It's free.
It's free.
That's wild.
Get it while it's hot.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think we're going to see some pretty interesting disruptions here because, as you may remember, Grindle got knocked out by Cardoso early on, and then he came back in the losers bracket. Now, of course, he's here, and this is the glory of having double elimination. And we did give the drivers an opportunity to vote and say, like, hey, do you really like the double elimination option? And all of the drivers, well, I won't say all of the drivers, I'd say maybe 90% of the drivers were like, yes, this is fantastic. It gives me an opportunity. If I have car failure, if something ends up just not being right, whatever the case may be, I go up against a major contender that I'm way outmatched against. I have an opportunity to get back in it. So every single driver, for the most part, has been very pro double elimination, within reason. Obviously, as our drivers list grows, it's double elimination is not going to be possible for us. We'd be here for 3 weeks, basically.
These drivers are getting a ton of battles out here. And, of course, everybody wants to take home the big checks. A win is a win. But ultimately, all these drivers are out here getting a ton of laps in. You can see on that race data labs a quick little snippet into it as we get back into the drone, getting that cinematic 360 down. Andrew Grindle, and that S14.9 Taylor Hall, patiently waiting for a verdict from the judges.
Shout out to our drone pilot, Corey Gamble, doing a fantastic job today.
You saw his tuck and tumble? Like someone took him out of the sky, and look at him, he's back in there.
Yeah, he's pretty quick. He's I'm not sure.
Survivor.
I'm not sure how many backup.
Ernie, get in the water. Ernie, jump. Get in the water, Ernie. I just want to see somebody swim in the pond.
All right, we're seeing some movement in the judges' stand, so we should have a verdict here soon. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your energy in the chat.
For sure. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for listening to Yap. I appreciate y'all. I definitely will. Oh, what you got?
The chat.
Oh.
Taylor dropped his tin again.
All right.
I'm sorry, that one got me.
All right, it looks like we got tons of movement going around.
All right, as
We're
per
parading
usual.
them back in.
As per usual, we're going to wait to give you the final decision from our judges as we bring these drivers in for their podium.
Big shout to every single driver in their team coming out for round 4, Klutch Kickers $100,000 Drift Series. Once again, a big shout to Mid Pond Raceway and Event Complex. The hospitality here is unmatched.
That's Southern hospitality.
It's true. It's real. And look, the ducks, dude. The ducks, dude. They're still hanging out.
Look, man, you got time before they announce, so if you want to go try to wrangle a duck.
I told you, I need consent.
Oh, that's true.
I don't want to force duck love onto anybody. All right? Those ducks need to approach me. I've put it out in the atmosphere. I've offered snacks. You know? Don't feed the ducks random things. That's not good for the ducks.
No.
Don't
No
do
bread.
that.
No bread.
Yeah, but they don't want my snacks, you know? So I had to finish my snacks by myself. All right, you guys are patiently waiting for the verdict of this round. Once again, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Tara, for having me. Thank you, Klutch Kickers and the team. Thank you, Mid Pond. Thank you all in the chat. Yeah, you on the internet. Yeah, you.
We see you.
Thanks. Appreciate you. I see you. Yes, see you. See you. All right, it looks like we're going to have a verdict happening. We got our podium drivers up on the line. You guys are hanging out with us while we gather those drivers into those positions. If you do the math, if you've been following around with the live bracket, you should probably understand what's going on. But nonetheless, let's give these boys some flowers. Make some noise for all your drivers here, each and every one of you. Make some noise for your spectators as well. Thank you guys for hanging out with us over here on the porch at Mid Pond.
Y'all are fantastic. Got the camera. We got to give a shout out to Ben from Drift Sessions. He has been.
Wait, ducks bite?
Yeah, ducks are pretty violent, man. They will nip at you.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you ever been chased by a rooster, by the way?
Yeah, but like I'll fist fight a rooster.
Oh,
I ain't scared of chickens. They're chickens. I'm not chicken. All right, big shout to all of our drivers out there: Cardoso, Hull, Grindle, as well as Hayden. Look at that thing. That's 2 throttle bodies underneath the hood of that 350Z. Look at those weapons of machines, and Hayden's out there. Up rev 350Z, 2 throttle bodies. They both survived, by the way. That's like kudos in itself. All right.
Just waiting for the appearance of our fearless leader, Ken Martin, with the signed checks, personally signed by the owner of the track here, Ken Martin, a bit of a local legend. He's been here to help support us degenerates for years, giving us a safe place to call home, safe place to try this sport out. This is where I learned to drift. This is where I met my husband. This is where I got married. This is a place of love, the lover's bracket.
Oh, I feel underwhelming. I just got here. This is my first weekend down here.
Yes, no. Now you're a part of the action. Now you're a part of the love.
Well, thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for letting me yap. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys in the chat, especially you guys calling me out. I appreciate y'all as well. But let's get those big checks out for these boys, and let's see if we can hand out those podiums and get them into the pond. I'm trying to get them in the pond water with the ducks.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pushing for it, If not round 5, it's either now or round 5, fellas. It's just going to get colder.
Now, here's the question. Are you going in with them?
If I have to. I work out. I can pick up these dudes.
You can't talk about it. You got to be about it. So if you're going to push them to do it, you got to do it too.
I packed extra clothes. I ain't scared.
There you go.
Y'all boys like swimming? I float, so I'm not worried about me. All right, it looks like we got the big checks out.
Got those Grip Royal custom steering wheels coming out as well.
All right. All right. Big shout to Grip Royal, shoving some steering wheels at us. These boys are going to get one of the best steering wheels in the game. Grip Royal, big shout. Scott, all these dudes over there, hustling out, spitting circles out like it's their job, because it is. Look at that. Look at that massive extension. That is a beautiful mid-pond right there and there. Hold on 1 second for me. We'll get right back to our verdict.
Yeah, go. I'll hold on here. Go. All right, we're going to get Mike out into the podium with the drivers. A little miscommunication. We need Mike out there so he can do the announcement. Didn't realize they were waiting on him, so he is running out there to be with you guys. We'll get you the final podium here in just a moment. Pretty sure you guys already know who it is, but let's make it official. Let's give these drivers the recognition and the time that they deserve. So round 4. Klutch Kickers here at Columbiana, Alabama, Mid-Pond Raceway and Events Complex. We are so grateful that you have taken the time to be here with us today, hung out with us all day today. So tomorrow we will still be here. We're still going to have some track action. Drivers are going to be able to do some practice. We'll have some fantasy battles that will take place. If you're interested in coming out and driving, you're ready to rock and roll, come on down. We'll be here. All right, hugs and hisses all around. I'm seeing some high fives, looking like we are getting ready to hand out some checks. Just getting Mike in position so that he can get in front of the camera. Hopefully before he jumps in the pond. We'll see. I can't make any promises. He has not grabbed a duck yet, so we're already moving in the right direction. So let's just hope it stays that way. I can't make any promises, y'all. All right, looks like we got Mike here with the mic.
Car's like a fresh build.
We're going to go ahead and
didn't have
switch
brake
to
booster
him.
Under throttle, so we thought it was a check valve. It was not. Ended up being a leaking booster. We stuffed some RPTV in it. Started working towards the end, but I wasn't comfortable using it anymore because I didn't practice with it. So
fair.
Blast. The layout's perfect. It reminds me of like the OG Klutch Kickers. It's real tight. You can take a 300 horsepower car and put it against pros. You know,
awesome.
You've got a fighting chance.
Awesome, man. You did a great drive. Honestly, great weekend out of you. Great showcase. Go ahead. I guess I got the green light, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and award our third place position here to Hayden Catrell, taking home that $1,500 check. Go ahead and show off the boys. Show off that big check here. That 2 throttle bodies underneath the hood, 300 horsepower, 350Z on the podium. Go jump in the pond, dude. Go jump in the pond. And
a grip roll
steering wheel. Look, you're running out of hands, dude. Congratulations. Congratulations, your 300 horsepower, 350Z. Great weekend. Shake my hand once again, man. We'll go chit-chat in the pits after this. All right. Now we got our final verdict. Our winner here at round 4, Klutch Kickers, $100,000 Drift Series. Taking home the win and the big check. Top of the box. Make some noise for none other than Taylor Hall. All right, fellas. You did a fantastic job. Cool to see you out here. Glad you got out. Oh, you are sweaty, man. You need a bath, dude. Let's get in the pond.
I have become moist.
All right, you already wet, dude. All right, take the big check. Show the camera, right? All right, now take a lap into the pond, man. Full dip. Come on, shoey or pond? Shoey or pond?
Pond before shoey, for sure.
Pond. He said the pond. But let's not forget our second place finisher who had to battle it out through this monster. Andrew Grindle, go ahead, brother. Come on over here. Taking home the second spot on the podium, the second big check, and another grip royal wheel. He had to fight on himself all the way out of the defeated bracket, the lover's bracket, if you will. And he had to fight his way against none other than Taylor Hull, our number one qualifier, taking that number one spot. Make some noise for all three of your drivers, as well as Hayden taking home that nice spot on the podium, number 3. Make some noise for all your drivers, as well as Cardoso coming out here for that 4th spot. A big shout to each and every driver. Get signed up, round 5, registration, link in the bio. Pond. Come on, dude, pond.
All right, we'll see if he can actually convince them to get into the pond. But until then, thank you all so much for joining us here for round 4, Klutch Kickers here, Columbiana, Alabama, Mid-Pond Raceway and Events Complex. We look forward to seeing you here again for November 21st, 23rd for round 5, our big finale. We got drivers going into the pond. Grindle's being forced in. Shoes, suit, all. Oh, beautiful. Dustin Patton said, nope, you're going into the drink. Oh, Taylor Hall goes in. Oh, I never thought I would see that happen. Oh, you never know what you're going to see.
And ducks. Hayden, get in there.
Oh, all 3 of our winners from our podium have gone into the drink, hanging out with the ducks here at Mid-Pond. You never know what you're going to see here at Mid-Pond Raceway and Events Complex. If you have not signed up for round 5, what are you doing with your life? Come see us November 1st through 23rd for round 5, our grand finale. I'm Tara McLamory, joined by Mike Prez. We will see you here next time. Take care.